nearly now at the halfway point of the first quarter of the EU Gears Pro League. My name is Chris Tunn, and I'm here with Fru, and we're excited to see the accumulation of everybody playing everybody at this point. So we've only got a few 2 games today, and then everybody I said would have played everybody. 2 good games though. We're interested by them this week. Last week's games, I don't want to say caught us off guard. Game number 1 definitely did, with Obey Alliance beating Rated R, but then EU's Finest definitely looking a lot better than we thought they would after what we've seen in week number 1. So now, as I said, we're at this point through where everybody's playing against each other, and we can sort of get a good lay of the land of where everybody's at, and that's what we're going to find out after the end of this week.
Yeah, I mean, that's it, right? It's Judgment Day for the teams here. They're at the halfway point. They've got to make their name known, and for every team across the board, we're all even, right? So it's that time to make their name known, to shine in the European Pro League.
Yeah, and we will at least have a definitive first place at some point this week. I think, firstly, though, let's talk about our first matchup. It is going to be EU's Finest against Obey Alliance. Yep. Obey Alliance getting a fantastic win against Rated R last week. A really, really close game, and that's what's actually led to them being bottom of the actual standings as we currently do have them there. As said, everybody's got one win apiece, 1 loss. So, it's one of these things where it starts to work into maps won, and then it goes to round differential, etc., etc. So that's how we are where we are.
We're 3 tiebreakers deep, right? So it's basically all even. After this, obviously, it'll probably go on points. We're hoping it'll go on points at least. It's only a couple of rounds, as you can see on the screen there, -3 to -1 to 0. So it is, it's anybody's game at this point.
And I think it's fair to say that with these 2 games coming up this week, we are really expecting Rated R and EU's Finest to be at the top there. That was sort of, when we were discussing beforehand, our predictions. We sort of are looking at those 2 for this week to see. We do think they're going to go on and win. Let's talk about game number 1, as said, though. EU's Finest against Obey Alliance. Obey Alliance looked good last week in a close game against Rated R, who did beat EU's Finest week number 1. So if you would go by logically, you would say, well, surely they should actually beat them here, but I very much doubt that will be the case. I think EU's Finest looked 100% better against our damage last week.
EU's Finest, they were back on form.
Yeah, 100%.
They looked like they were back at the majors, back a few months ago in Gears 4. That's how good they looked. Our damage didn't look good at all, to be quite honest with you.
No,
I think
they
that played into it, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
But much better showing from EU's Finest last week, and Obey as well. On the other hand, they also stepped up. They had a lot better week 2 than they did week 1.
Yeah, 100%. Speaking of EU's Finest playing well, let's have a look at the leaderboards of statistics that we have here. The top 5 KDA is every single player from EU's Finest. So, I mean, that's a pretty solid start, considering they've won 1, lost 1. I mean, look, everybody's won 1, lost 1, I suppose, but at the same time, considering where they were, how poor of a week 1 they had, it showed how strong their week 2 was.
Yeah, definitely. If these are week 2 stats after week 2, right? If you looked at the same leaderboard after week 1, there was only Crazed up there. The rest of the other 4 members of EU's Finest were nowhere to be seen. They were actually further down the bottom than anyone would have anticipated. It is good to see the 5 stack there for EU's Finest. Obviously back on winning form last week.
And looking on the other side of things, though, Saki very much at the top of the top 5 average scorecard. He's a player that we talked about on Change of Gears through the week. Mm-hmm. The top eliminations over the whole EU Pro League from Saki.
Yeah, top eliminations. He's the only one over 90, I believe. And he's hitting over 45 game. I'm thinking series here. Over 45 per map, which is insane. He's top on deaths as well, so he's obviously getting involved in those fights. He is really getting stuck in. Up on the points as well, obviously.
Mm-hmm. And something else to point out that we don't have on screen, though, the top 3 Slayers all belong into Obey. Obviously, KDA is very much on the side of EU's Finest, but when we're talking about just pure slaying, Saki and Co. from Obey are the top 3. I think it's Saki, Breaker, and TJ all in the top 3 for Obey. So they're feeling themselves in terms of engagements, at least anyway. Yeah. Do you think that's maybe good for them going up against EU's Finest, or do you think that's going to play into EU's Finest's hands?
It depends if they can carry on slaying at that level, right? If they can keep that form up, then by all means, if you can take the fight to EU's Finest and win it, that's pretty much how Rated R beat them in the first week, right? So we have seen that strategy work against EU's Finest. That said, if you take it to them and can't match that intensity, then no, it's a terrible way to go, because you are going to just get dominated. So It's chalk and cheese really for Obey, and I'm really excited to see which way it goes. To be honest with you.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because I think when you look at EU's Finest and how they really strangulated our damage last week, they can play that way as well. Yes. So EU's Finest, they've got a lot of strings to their bow, so to speak. But let's have a look at the pick and bans for game number 1. Now, we already knew these, and we were a little bit surprised because we have actually seen Bunker slip through, and Obey Alliance beat EU's Finest on this map last time they played each other. Yeah.
It was a surprise, to be honest with you. The first ban there from EU's Finest, Vaskar, coming out. Perhaps that's a targeted ban on the map that we saw last week. Yeah. We saw Obey play it reasonably well. It was a very, very close game, but I was very surprised to see Vaskar there. I would have thought that would have been Bunker as the first ban. So yeah, no surprise there. Obey Alliance picking Bunker up first.
Yeah, and it was no surprise to see District going as well from Obey Alliance. So I mean, that's been pretty much across the board. A lot of teams banning that one out.
Both these teams have banned District in both their matches. So no surprise to see that one gone. Bunker, on the other hand, is the only map that Obey have beat EU's Finest on since the qualifications begun. So that's an interesting one for me.
Yeah, so that sort of automatically makes this a lot more interesting, I think. You know, if you look at the other maps, Exhibit, if I was EU's Finest, we've seen Obey not have a good time with things against our damage on that one in week number 1, if I remember correctly. So I would have liked to maybe see Exhibit, because I think EU's Finest looked pretty good on that last week, going up against our damage themselves. Asylum coming through is no surprise, though, let's be honest. EU's Finest have always looked pretty good on that map.
Yep, they looked great on it last week. They beat our damage on it very, very convincingly.
Yes.
They slipped a couple of rounds, but honestly, they looked very good on it last week, so no surprise really. Closing out though, Icebound, Obey banning that one out, fair enough. Exhibit 2, EU's Finest. I mean, they played it last week, but
I find it strange that EU's Finest wanted rid of Exhibit. Maybe they just prefer Training Grounds and know that Obey Alliance won't pick Icebound.
I think
because Icebound's been a ban for EU's Finest though.
Yeah, it has been a ban, but I think looking at the maps that are left, they are just trying to force Obey to pick that Training Grounds, and I think they knew Obey would pick that, given that this has been the last map in all 3 of the 4 games in terms of picks and bans. At least we haven't seen it yet, but it has been there as that 4th pick.
So it's a little bit of a strange pick and ban in the end for me. The way I look at it, I would say that it's not necessarily what we would have predicted. I think, we absolutely believed that Bunker would be gone, but let's have a look at the maps that we will indeed be playing. It is, as said, going to be Bunker coming up first, which we like for Obey, but do we fancy them for it, though?
I think if they are going to win this, they have to win Bunker.
They absolutely have to.
Be honest with you. And I think if they lose Bunker, a 2-0 comeback, a 2-1 comeback, is definitely off the cards. I think it's great for Obey that they've been gifted this, to be honest with you. And we saw it last week. We called out Rated R for letting this go through. And
they picked it, actually, didn't they?
Yeah,
if I remember rightly. Yeah,
exactly.
So that's an interesting one. Asylum and Training Grounds will follow, of course. We all own the game, so I'm going to ask you for your prediction based on these maps through. I'm personally gonna say Obey Alliance win map number 1. And I think we'll see our first 3rd map of the EU Pro League, actually. I think we will see all 3 maps, and I do believe EU's Finest will take it 2-1.
On the other hand, as much as I would love to make that same prediction, I'm going to go the opposite way. I'm going to say this is 2-0 EU's Finest.
Oh.
I think that they are going to have let Bunker go through on purpose. I don't think that Rubik's, their coach, would have missed this and slipped up here. So I reckon they've probably got something planned to counteract that torque bow up on the top side. And I think they may have been baiting Obey into picking this.
Okay, well, maybe they're playing the mind games. Maybe they are indeed luring Obey into their trap. Let's get into it. Week number 3 at the EU Pro League. We've got so many more to go as well through. Wow. 3 out of 5 million weeks of this. and we're excited for it. It's going to be great to build the stories. They are slowly writing themselves, though, as we get into this one. And it is going to be top control that everyone seems to sort of barn for. But a little bit of a split here through. Obey Alliance only sending 1 down low towards B.
Yeah, that they do. Obey, they send 1 low, but they send 2 high side. Playing a little bit similar, actually, to how they played against Rated R last week. And they just kind of match things up top. They like to get this control in this middle so they can then start to shoot down towards that bottom side. And there's no harm in doing that, to be honest with you. You do lose that first ring, that middle ring, that neutral ring. But the control you gain from it, you usually can gain those points back later on.
Yeah. So it's just sort of setting yourselves up for success rather than going in and into potentially a massive fight against EU's Finest. But as I said, EU's Finest are in control now. Phelpsy will hold this one quite nicely. And we've seen EU's Finest play this game against our Damage last week. Not necessarily on this map, but they were in a position where they were just holding the 2-cap very, very steadily. And they weren't really letting anything slip through. But here we go. Warrior Guns is going to start making this push over towards B. He does have his teammate with him, Phelpsy here, lying in wait. They have spotted him now. They will come through with the push. Some supportive fire coming from up top from Crimson's as well as fantastic. Warrior Guns does get caught out, but it is going to be Demonic to pick up a couple of kills and keep things going here. Phelpsy just trying to defend the downed Warrior Guns as eventually does take him down. Now TJ will probably back up or just have to get aggressive. Hydron is going to go down to Saki, and Saki's been the standout player for me from Obey Alliance. We've seen some good players coming out of Breaker, but Saki well and truly at the head of the slaying leaderboards. It has been a push over towards C from Obey Alliance, which they have won, so TJ can just take his time here.
Yeah, he's got time. He knows he's got 2 members in front of him as well, which means he knows he's 3 members in front of him now. And he knows his team, only have 2 to deal with over at the other side, which is, it's not a problem really here. They've got the D cap, so they've got to force EU's Finest to come and try and get this C cap here. And it's actually good play from Obey. They're clawing back points. You can see every time that the EU's Finest team go in to capture this B, they just get a little touch on it to stop that. And they push him back. It looks like Sea Hill maybe going back over towards EU's Finest, though, as the attack comes in from Craze. Saki managed to get another kill, though. That's good for Saki. He's traded himself out. He's delayed a bit of time here, and it has given his team time just to get into the fight here, into the action. Warrior Guns against Crimson's.
That's massive from Crimson's.
Yeah, big shot there to clean up that kill. And
that was 2 he found all on his own over towards B, and that will just about shut down the Obey Alliance resurgence, if you like. And I like that from Obey, though. They pushed over towards C, they were keeping them occupied, and then the 3 members of Obey were just waiting at B for when eventually they did lose out on C. Then they would have to make that push. In the end, though, they couldn't quite get it done. Crimson's is going to find 2 over towards that B site, so it is going to be a reset, if you like, and EU's Finest are back in the position they were in at the beginning of the round. But the time is ticking down. If you are Obey Alliance, you need to make a move within the next 25 seconds. We can see EU's Finest are setting up here, and they want to get control of over up top. Nobody really from Obey Alliance here, so they want to get down and dirty with a shotgun fight over towards B. Here comes the push. Warrior Guns going to have to get something done here. The flash comes through. This could be a break for EU's Finest if they can try it. It has been decapped up, but it's still a COG team win condition. They have to make the push. They have to find the kills really, really quickly. Hydron's going to find one, not going to quite find the turn and burn onto Warrior Guns, but Warrior Guns can do nothing from here. Has been a C push, though, from Obey Alliance, and they will win from this one, I do believe. Oh, no, they won't. Not quite. They have to make the push over towards A, which is what EU's Finest have already done. This one has been decapped. It's a long round, but it is EU's Finest in the end taking this one away.
It was a nice little play there from Obey, but an even nicer play from EU's Finest. As they made that push up onto the B hill to try and defend it, they just swung a member underneath Obey and just took that home hill from behind them. And it looked like they actually waited a little bit just to make sure that Obey had fully committed to that C hill, to that B hill, before decapping the A hill. They had their timers on point, and that's a nice play just to secure the round there.
Yeah, nicely done by EU's Finest, but a close round nonetheless. We go all the way to the wire. Obey Alliance now. We'll have to try and come back into this one. I mean, I don't dislike the play from Obey Alliance at any point during that. It's just one of those rounds that you sort of chalk it up. You say, good play by EU's Finest. They held it a little bit better than we did, and maybe 1 or 2 more gunfights that went in Obey Alliance's favour, and that goes in a different direction. I think it really comes down to Crimson's finding the 2 over towards B when the C push was initiated as well from Obey Alliance, and that pretty much won them the round in the end.
The only thing I would have maybe done differently in their feet, that's not a saying. If I was in their feet, if I was in their shoes, is that when I knew I was losing the C hill, I would have rotated my members from C back towards B and tried to make that that advantageous play there, basically, try and get a couple more kills. They tried to fight on both fronts, and I'm not sure that really went too well for them, but it was a good round. It was very, very close. And we're seeing the opposite this time around, Obey opening up with that B hill.
And they're happy to try and close this one out from here, but the kills have all went over towards EU's Finest up top. There's going to be Saki, TJ, both going down. And now this is what we would probably like to have seen.
Exactly.
We see Craze looking for the flank going over towards Breaker. That will allow the rest of his team to then push up and make the push through. Demonic should be in a world of hell, and he is. He goes down. Really nicely done by EU's Finest. It's just methodical gears, isn't it? There's nothing too crazy about it. Win your gunfights where you need to, flank where you can. They are going to lose C after initially getting a hold of it, but they will capture B because of the push up top.
Yeah, and that's the difference, right? Yes, they let C go, but they now have 2 hills. They now have full control over the map, and it asks for a brazen push here from Obey to really get this back. EU's Finest, they are going to cede a little bit of control up top here because they were outnumbered. But up until that point, it was a good play. And they still have control. They still are waiting for this push from Obey.
TJ's going to try and get a bit further forward. Phelpsy will find him from low, though. But it has actually allowed a little bit of room for Warrior Guns to push up. Hydron's going to try and answer back here. Breaker is in support of his teammate, so it looks like that one will be decapped. Hydron is going to find Warrior Gun, so he's going to catch him out. Big gunfight coming up here as well as Breaker trades that one away. Crimson's goes down, but Phelpsy is here to help as well. Has to make the push, has to do something special to get out of this one. Breaking a tough spot. And it's just so well played by EU's Finest. They just seem to have the teamwork on lock. Whenever you are needed at some point in the map, you always seem to have somebody there if you are EU's Finest. Phelpsy now getting aggressive with the rest of his team, but he will just back on down and say, you know what, we're quite happy to sit back on this 2-cap. No need to necessarily push over towards C. You lose a couple of gunfights there if you EU's Finest, and you put yourself in a worse position.
Yeah, that's it. You basically open up the B hill push if you lose any person at C. That is the difference between EU's Finest and Obey, by the way. This is the reason that they are up there on that KDA leaderboard, is that because in those 2v1 situations, they very rarely lose a person. Whereas Obey, whereas Rated R, they will happily trade that person out for that control. EU's Finest say, well, we don't need to trade out for that control, and they play it just a little cleaner, a little bit nicer, and that is why you see them up there on that leaderboard.
Needs to be some big gunfights within the next 10 seconds if you're Obey Alliance, making a push over towards A. Chris sitting back defending. They need to win B as well. Hydron's won a gunfight over there. Crazed is going to find one. Phelpsy finds another. This will be another round over towards EU's Finest, and they are just really... I don't want to say they're longing the rounds out, but it's just a grinding them down constantly. And whenever Obey Alliance have a question to ask, the answer is always there from EU's Finest. They always have a play to get around what Obey are doing. So Obey, can they maybe develop themselves here and sort of say, how do we adapt to what EU's Finest are doing?
Mm-hmm. And one
it's
thing
hard to do, though, isn't it?
It is very hard to do. It's one of those things that actually, as the game goes on, it's going to be a little bit easy because they'll be coming back in those respawns a little bit quicker.
Yeah. Oh, all right.
That's a very interesting placement.
Okay, so that's...
I like this.
Yeah.
I think that's a very interesting placement, but I like this. And Obey,
I love it.
you're going to reply.
So, right, okay, this is more like...
So this is what we were saying though, right? We thought, EU's Finest probably have got a reason that they're letting Bunker slip through here. It looks like this is the reason. We're going back to Gears 4. We're going back a little bit old school here.
This is what I like to see, because
placing those weapons
I'll
in the
not
middle.
lie to you. When people put down the same weapons every time, it doesn't offer anything different, really, does it? But when this is the case, when there's a drop shot and a boom shot in the middle of the map, that's when things get really interesting. TJ is going to find the boom shot up top, though. So that's a good start from them. They may be able to get something going with it, but it looks like EU's Finest have invested a lot towards this drop shot and towards B. Hydro now setting himself up, waiting for the push. They have the advantageous cover on this side. Drop shot comes through, but he is going to be taken down and back up very, very quickly, but he is going to get taken down. Now they have the numbers. Jackfax is going to have to go big. Does find one. The push over, though. We can see EU's Finest flexing their muscles over towards it. It's going to be a 3v3 gunfight next time we break out.
They've got to be very careful as well. That drop shot is almost close enough to the edge that EU's Finest could maybe pick it just a little bit too far away. Does look like some good control here from Obey, though. They're going to try and pick up the drop shot themselves. This time Warrior falls into the corner, so he might actually be able to get picked up here. Depends whether or not he can backpack it. Can he get it out? He just dropped it down. TJ comes in with a boom shot, takes out 2 of his own members, 4 people in total, sorry. And that is going to be that for B-Hill fight. Drop shot still in the corner, though. Saki trying to fight for it. Craze may have spotted it. Doesn't look like he has actually.
Huge gunfight.
Going to try and support his teammate here. Saki picks up one with Crimson's, but Craze, he's going to reply as well. And if he's quick, he can get that drop shot. He has seen it. Looks like he's going to let it go out of play instead. Goes for the cap.
Wow.
Is he going to get there in time? He's there in time. He knows his time.
Just about gets there in time. But either way, I mean, that boom shot comes through, and I think if you're TJ in that position, you say, well, how's this going to go? Let's fire it in the mixer and see what happens. And that's what happened, unfortunately. The 4-man was 2 of the other team, but 2 of your own team, so not necessarily the best. But either way, TJ is going to make a push over towards B. Looks like that drop shot actually may have come out, and it doesn't really find much, but here come EU's Finest on the defensive side of things. Hydron finds one. The pickup comes through, but Crimson's might go through untouched, and eventually does go down. Warrior Guns, though, is going to find Hydron. TJ will get picked up, and the numbers are here for OB Alliance. They should be able to get a hold of B. Crazed has something to say, though. Warrior Guns finds him. Another kill for Warrior, and they are going to back EU's Finest down. They will get a hold of B, and that's the first time we've really seen OB Alliance win that gunfight in and around B.
Yeah, and I like what I saw there. I mean, they have just let this boom shot go on the other side of the map, which is never a good thing, but the fight itself was well played. Warrior Guns dropping in a flashbang for his teammates' push, and they really, they coordinated well. Drop shot on the other side of things is going to be taken out, actually, by Obey here. So we have got a power weapon on each side. Warrior Guns holding that drop shot. Let's see what he's up to with it. Looks like he's going to take it up top. Has got 2 shots left in it here. The boom shot, on the other hand, is in Phelps' hand, so he's going to bring this up to B and maybe trying to look to get a couple of kills here. He does go down. If they can clean this is huge.
They're going to go for the clean. They're going to take him down as well. So that was because of the drop shot comes through. He has to force over towards that cover, and he gets taken down. Crazed has won a gunfight onto Demonic, though, and will take him down. That's a big drop shot. If it lands, he is going to find Hydron. Really nice play from Obey Alliance. They found themselves in control of the points, and with more power weapons as well. Put themselves in a good position to win this round. They will still probably win off one cap here. Indeed, they will over towards A. That's all they need to keep a hold of. But here comes the push from EU's Finest. Has to be a couple of gunfights won by OB here. And I think they may just have enough time. They will have enough time, and it's an OB Alliance round. Much better from them. But the first time we've really seen this season is something being dropped in the middle. And we love to see it. I love to see these big gunfights. When it comes down to it, you win the important ones, and you will win the round. Obey Alliance did just that and will find themselves 2-1 down now.
Having a little look at the scoreboard as we go into this 4th round.
I mean, there's a reason he's top of the KD here.
Yeah, you can see exactly why, right? Rocking a 4.0 already in this game. 16 eliminations to 4 deaths. Crims as well not doing too bad either, 13-3. But the rounds have been very close, so it's not really about those eliminations, right? It's about how you play in the rings. It's about holding control. You can slay out a lot, but if you're slaying out on your own home hill and you're still losing points, it doesn't really matter. Obviously, that's not the case in this game. EU's Finest, they're doing all right. Let's have a quick look at that overhead, see what got placed. Incendiaries down on that cog side. So, just one of them going over to EU's Finest. On the other side, we see some shocks. So, some shock grenades to support on that boom shot fight.
So, slight change up. Let's see what Crimson's does with the incense, though. It is going to be pushed over towards where the drop shot is, and of course where B is. Flash comes through. Crimson's is not going to be able to be flashed by that one. Jackpix is going to get a hold of the boom shot, though, so we will keep an eye on that as well. TJ's putting the shots down. He is going to be peppered back, though, and we'll probably have to back on down here, and we'll just concede that boom shot. So that is now gone there. Probably going to try and rotate that round towards B. So big gunfight's coming up very, very shortly. Demonic and Code just trading blows up top. It's an important gunfight here. They really can't allow both power weapons to go over towards EU Finest here. Break it. Guarding it as best he can, but there's 3 members of EU's Finest over towards B. Here comes the push. Has the boom shot made its way over here as well?
It is. The boom shot's at the back, so he's not on this first cover where Crimson's is, but he's a little bit further back. And I like what EU's Finest have done here. They picked the incense on this side specifically because they can put that one person with these incense down, and it basically nullifies this 3-person push here from Obey. Whereas on the other side, EU's Finest, they had an extra person up there. The shot grenade didn't get used as well, and they managed to extract that boom shot with that extra person in tow.
They just have to back down. They have to back down.
There is no answer here really for Obey. They either have to force the boom shot to come out, but if they force the boom shot to come out, unless they've got an extra person over here, they're probably going to lose the drop shot for it. They may lose a little bit more as well, as we see TJ go down there. Saki trying his best still to try and defend this, but he has got a member behind, and that is Hydron. Warrior going to make tail now and get out of there. He can't fight 3 members of EU's Finest, especially with the incend as well on the...
And that couldn't have went better for EU's Finest, right? Yes, okay, they have to invest the boom shot because of its presence, though. That's what won them it, because they know that they have to pull the trigger at some point here. If you are on EU's Finest, Obey make the push. They don't find the kills because the boom shot's in play it, and they get a drop shot for their troubles as well as B.
The one play that they possibly could have made is to drop the...
I think the shock did come through.
It came through, but it came through on the far side, so close to the edge wall.
Maybe you could have seen something a bit more aggressive with it.
Put it here in the middle, then you don't have anyone there at least shooting you. Let's have a look what's going on here. Just a kill from Jack with that drop shot. Someone trying to push over the top, and he was just hiding on the corner. But yeah, if you...
Oh, that's a big drop shot coming through, and that is going to be another kill. Jack doing great work here with the drop shot, and they do still have a hold of the boom as well. And I think you're just not in a good spot here if you're Obey Alliance at all. The kills coming in up top. The incense to stop the push from Saki. Hydron will sacrifice himself, but here comes the Cog elimination. EU's finest 3-1 up now. And similar to rounds 1 and 2, but of course with the drop shot, with the boom shot involved, they just won the important gunfights there, you feel?
Yep, they did. They played that opener very, very well. And then once they had those weapons in hand, it's, you know, you're asking a difficult ask of any team to fight EU's finest on, you know, just base weapons. But once they've got extra weapons on top of that, it's going to be difficult. It looks like if I was in an Obey situation now, I'd be looking at putting more importance over on this boom shot side. You aren't going to be able to get that drop shot there with that incendiary looking at it. It's if EU's finest play that correctly, it's just going to be very, very difficult. Looks like they're going to put a smoke grenade in there, perhaps to maybe cover that drop shot as they go for it. But it's still a very risky play. If you if you get killed out with that incendiary, smoke or not, you're still going up.
No, smoke does not defeat fire. Not in this game anyway.
No.
Well, looks like the standard push coming through.
Let's have a look up top this time.
There's actually plenty of members of Obey going over towards that boom shot, and they are going to probably get a hold of that there. TJ now in a good position. He does have some cover as well if Jackfix does actually choose to have a pop. Just trying to put a couple extra bullets in. Here comes the flash. It's a shot grenade coming through, actually, sorry, and it is actually going to drop Jack, and they get a hold of the boom shot. So nicely played by Obey Alliance. I think it will just be a momentary thing. I'd imagine Jack may get picked up if his teammate does choose to come and help him here. Craze, though, is just going to try and fight them off himself. Flash is coming through as well. Jack should go down and will go down, and here it is. Obey Alliance now get control of up top, but importantly note, Hydron does have a hold of this drop shot. Crazed is going to go down. I expect a home hill push yet. Obey Alliance quite happy to do so, quite happy to say you can have a hold of B, you can have a hold of the drop shot, but we're going to get C.
And we see actually a push here from Obey to try and get control of B at the same time. TJ using that drop shot well. They are going to get control of B as well. Looks like C has been departed, as they're going to just kind of wrap round here. And this is the play that we asked them to make in that second round. When they had control of the homes, they didn't come back in time. This time they have done. They've managed to get control of mid again. What they need to be doing now, though, is be careful of that boom shot pickup, that second round pickup. We've got 80 seconds on the drop shot, whereas we've only got 60 on the boom shot.
3 men of EU's finest heading up towards that boom shot. So investing a lot into that one, and I think that's the catalyst that we will see used if you are the EU's finest side to try and get back into this round, because Obey Alliance sitting pretty at the moment. Was there anything left on that drop, the boom shot that they had? I don't think TJ used it.
He did use it in the end. He used it. Well, let's go over and have a look. I don't see him. I don't see him using it at all. I'm pretty sure that he used it in the push back over towards this B hill. I heard a lot of explosions go off, and I'm pretty sure he got a kill with that.
Either way, a bit of a stalemate here. Nothing on the cards for EU's finest right now, and they will just be waiting on those power weapons coming up once again. And there's going to be boom shot in 20, but we can see how aggressive Obey Alliance are. They're in a position where they can pick up that drop shot when it does come through in about 30 seconds or so, but we can imagine that EU's finest are going to adapt to that. But here we go, boom shot coming up in 10.
It's going to be such a quick play.
Yeah, EU's finest are in a much better position to do something about this yet. Has to be big from Obey Alliance, as they're going to be in a tough spot, albeit in lead of the round. Saki is going to find those shocks, so he will make the push, but Hydron is taking down Breaker. The shot's now going to come through from Jack. That's going to force them away from B. Crimson should be able to make that push. And it is going to be drop shot coming through for Jack. He's going to manage to pick that one up in a second. Crimson's going to find a kill with the incense as well. It's still an Obey Alliance round to lose, but this gunfight has to be won by Saki. He's going to get taken down. The drop shot comes through. There comes the boom as well. Crazed gets the support, and EU's finest flip the switch. 4-1 there now, and it just felt like it was coming. You've seen the score. Obey Alliance well in control, and you're just like, well, EU's finest are probably going to win this. Crazy, crazy round out of them. And then they just win the important gunfights once again.
It was textbook Gears of War.
Yeah.
And if Obey had read that textbook, they should have known to put a member over onto the opposing team's home hill. They had that advantage down at the artillery. You mentioned it yourself, that they were in that aggressive spot. That means they have the route to go through. As soon as that push comes up over the top of bunker, one member of Obey should have been extending all the way over down here to the windmill, and he should have got control over the home hill. It should have happened.
Yeah.
That to me is great play by EU's finest. Don't get me wrong. They played their gunfights perfectly, and they had a plan, right? The plan was very obvious. But Obey, they should have been in the position there to realize what was happening to them and tried to make the most of it. The most of it would have been, you know, that extension there basically. But fantastic play by EU's finest, and now 4-1 up. They get what they deserve.
Indeed. Good round from EU's finest, and they just seem to have had Obey's number for the majority of the time, outside of that one round, of course. Phelpsy now getting aggressive, gonna have to back off from Demonic, but here comes the support of Lancify. There should be a kill for Phelpsy, nicely done. Backs off and just lets his teammate do all the dirty work for him and cleans up the kill nice and easily. Phelpsy finds a second. EU's Finest in control of up top. They've got the drop shot, they've got control of the boom shot as well if they want it. It's just, as you said, it's textbook. We've seen Obey invest a lot over towards B, but they've lost control of everything else.
They have indeed. And, you know, they still have that C hill to hold on to, but it's going to be, you know, a literal uphill battle coming up this bunker, but, you know, an uphill battle as well in terms of running into those drop shots, those boom shots, because it's definitely a scary situation. You see Warrior Guns just holding a little angle up here to try and make sure no one is pushing across top bunker. But for EU's Finest, they don't particularly need to move. They've got those weapons in hand. You know, the timers they're large, right? 90 seconds you see on that boom shot, 80 seconds on the drop shot. Phelpsy gets himself actually a kill here with that boom shot. The drop shot did come in as well, but nothing for that.
And I think if you Obey Alliance here, you're just trying to bait out these power weapons to be wasted, if you like, from EU's Finest. In this case, it hasn't been, though. Yes, okay, the kills are coming if you are EU's Finest, so you're happy with that. But Obey Alliance have to get rid of them at some point, though, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They have to make make EU's Finest waste them, basically, before those next ones come up. But that was actually baiting the opposite side. Phelpsy, he ran down there knowing that he'd get lanced, so that drop shot could just be placed over the top, and people weren't paying attention to it. And that little misdirection is something that's used a lot by EU's Finest, and they use it very, very well.
Seems as if Obey are really setting up more of the resources over towards the top side bunker of the map. And they want that boom shot to maybe help them try and get back into things. That's obviously going to come up first over the drop shot. So, EU's Finest is going to invest maybe a little bit more towards B, keeping hold of that one. Breaker is going to find Phelpsy, though. Crimson's just trying his best to keep them off B. The shot grenade was placed on towards the B hill. And now the push comes through from Obey Alliance. Do they have anything else to play with yet? Crimson's is now going to find those incens as well. They will not get B either, though. They tried to make the push, and Crazed is there to just shut the door. Finds the kills where he needs to. B will go back over towards EU's Finest. This will be another round to EU's Finest outside of a sensational play from Obey, and it's just an impossible play at this moment in time with the Gears of War that EU's Finest are playing 5-1 now. My bunker prediction for Obey Alliance is looking slim to say the least.
Yeah. And this middle pick for this drop shot and this boom shot, it's kind of thrown a bit of a wrench in the plan, I think, for Obey.
Because it was EU's Finest that came out with it.
Yes,
initially.
Yeah.
So Obey have to match it at some point, whether they sort of say, well, okay, let's upgrade our homes and hopefully we win the mid fight. But they just said, well, screw it, let's put another one in the middle and see what they're about.
Yeah, exactly. And well, EU's Finest, they're about quite a lot, it seems, as they are 5-1 up at the half. Marks are placed, obviously, in that top right. We see the shot grenades both on the bottom, and those incendiaries still over on the left side.
So Phelpsy going to get a free boom shot, and TJ pretty much a free drop shot. So, of course, things have changed around this time round, though. We have moved the hills, and E, or the middle hill, has now moved up towards where the boom shot is placed up top bunker. Home hills, relatively similarly placed, just moved over to the other side. But in this position, though, do you maybe favour the E side a little bit more? Do you put more investment into E than you would to B because of the height advantage that they have? Or do you think if your Obey Alliance going for that drop shot was probably the best play?
I don't mind getting the drop shot. It's, you know, if EU's Finest are going to give it up, I would rather get a free drop shot and push up than fight 50-50 on both hills.
Yeah.
Purely because that's what the drop shot is made for, right? It's for fighting up verticals. It's about dropping that weapon straight over the top, hence the name. And, well, I don't think it's a terrible situation to be in.
Jordan is going to drop TJ, though, so that drop shot doesn't find anything if you're Obey Alliance.
Incendiary grenade,
though. The massive incent coming out of Crimson's, though. And you feel as if that's going to shut down the push. Nothing found with the drop shot. Jack Vex finds Demonic. EU's Finest holds steady. Nicely done from them. They are going to get a hold of the F hill, though, if you're Obey Alliance. So that is going to slow it down just a little bit. But if you're EU's Finest, you're still on the drive in CTA. You'll win the gunfight over towards F. You'll capture the hill. You have control of E. You have control of the map. And look at the aggressive push. They just have to push up, and it's such a hard break for Obey Alliance in this position.
It is, and that's that first line of defense. Even though EU's Finest, they've just backed off here. They're still in a good situation to defend. It's not like they've backed away from the hill. They've just backed away one level. And they've got these three setups, right? They've got the first setup, which is super aggressive. Then they've got that kind of middle level, not so much a passive setup, but just enough to hold the hill. and then they've got the third line.
Demonic's going to come in with a kill on the Jack, though, so maybe there's life in this round for Obey Alliance yet. It needs to be a domination, though. Don't feel like they're going to have enough time. If you are EU's finest, you just try and win these gunfights. I say that. A couple actually go over towards EU's Obey Alliance, I should say. But still, it's an impossible task in 5 seconds. If you're Crimsons, you're just trying to stay alive, just trying to do something on the map to deter Obey Alliance from making the push. I don't think there's going to be enough time. There is not. 6-1 now to EU's finest, making things look very, very easy here. And for me, it comes down to power weapons. We see the incense on the side of EU's finest used perfectly. We see the drop shot from Obey Alliance wasted.
Yes, yeah, and both grenades, the shock as well to push Obey off that back spawn, that boom shot spawn was perfect, and the speed at which they use them is also something that should be noted. It's not a question of, oh, should I throw that shock? The shock is already there.
Yeah.
Like, you have no time to react. You move to that position and you're already getting downed by that shock grenade, and the rest of the members of EU's finest are already lancering your escape route. It's really good Gears of War, and it is at the very, very top level. The Tortbow comes in, and this is an Obey Alliance special. We saw it used very, very well to come back against, Rated R, but to beat Rated R. We've seen it be the catalyst for Obey Alliance's win over EU's finest the first time round, but quite honestly, the M-bar on the other side is something to watch out for, especially in Crazed hand.
Well, let's see what Chris can do with it. And the other side of things, we'll keep an eye on Saki. M-bar going to come through onto TJ. I think it's going to land the first one, not quite the second. He's just putting the shots down, but not really using it to great effect quite yet.
Just needs to take his time with the shot, that was all.
I think that's it. It's not an easy shot to make there, but either way, Chris does waste a few of those bullets at least. And we'll try and get something done here. At this moment in time, Obey Alliance not in a bad setup. TJ is going to go for the boom, and he will get a hold of it. Jack has won a gunfight down low, though, against Warrior Guns. Phelpsy and Crazed also winning gunfights, and it doesn't matter how much control you have if you can't win your gunfights. Don't miss, don't lose is EU's finest mantra right now. Crimson's is not going to miss anybody there as he finds his teammate as well as Breaker, but Crimson's is going to find the drop shot because of that, and they start to get aggressive. Saki now in a bad spot. He was, before this at least, the leader in eliminations. May still well be, but at the same time, he has to do something special here. Let's be honest. It's not looking good for Obey Alliance. Just things, I don't want to say things haven't gone their way. They've just been outplayed. They've just been outplayed on every single part of the map, to be honest with you. And I think we questioned whether the slaying ability that we've seen from them last week against Rated R is going to be enough. They haven't had a chance to even flex their muscles because EU's finest to just shut the door at every single opportune moment. They've got as many power weapons as they could possibly like as Crimson's invests one of them. On the Warrior Guns, he goes down, and that's the difference. That's the difference there. Crimson's finds 2. The previous round, when we talked about Obey Alliance having to use their power weapons, well, they did not. EU's finest, perfect efficiency from them. The drop shot finds 2, the boom shot finds 1, and EU's finest are looking to find map 1 here. 6-1 up in the driving seat. Simple round here from them, surely.
It is. It should be pretty simple. They're just taking their time, slaying out where they need to. They're finding these individual kills here and there with these power weapons. We saw, 2 drop shots come out, 1 boom shot come out, and now Obey, they're trapped basically in their own spawn. We see Crimson's, he's up there with them. He has got a bit of backup. Jack's going to come in. He got taken down as well. A Hydra it was, sorry. Jack got it down elsewhere.
Well, either way, EU's finest were just trying to maybe flex that and make sure they made the final push through to eventually end this round. But there you go. You said about these shocks, they're like, oh, let's make a push through to bottom mid. Oh no, we can't because there's a shock grenade there. Just used perfectly. It's just perfect gears from EU's finest, and honestly 7-0 wouldn't have flattered them. Phenomenal from them on bunker. We questioned whether it was a strange pick from them. Clearly not. Obey Alliance get put to sleep on that one. 7-1 is the score, 1-0 in maps, and that is as convincing as you could possibly like if you are an EU's finest fan. Impressive. Very, very impressive from them. I think after week 1, we asked questions. We sort of said, right, well, how are EU's finest losing to Rated R like this in the way that they did? But ever since then, they have been flawless.
Yeah, it really was flawless. We saw some members of EU's finest there with less than 5 deaths across the whole map. That's 8 rounds played, 5 deaths, 4 deaths.
And it doesn't even feel like,
fantastic.
Yes, they were winning their gunfights, but they never put themselves in a position where it come down to these huge fights. They always just move around the map so well. And yes, okay, they do win their important 1v1s, that has to be said. But it wasn't a huge slaying game.
No.
And that really sort of, you look at Obey Alliance last week and you sort of say, well, okay, the slaying was their biggest power weapon, if you like. They were playing really well in terms of just winning these big shotgun fights. EU's finest didn't allow them to get in that position at all,
No.
really. They just strangulated them across the map and just out-rotated them on occasion. They outplayed them every single time they needed to, apart from that one round. That was nice from OB Alliance, but I mean, EU's finest were just great there.
It comes down to strategy in the end,
Yeah.
in the end of things, and they're the only team that have looked at the map and really thought about how they can manipulate it. How does the map play? How do teams react to certain certain variables? The variable being the drop shot this time down at that artillery area.
Yeah.
And as soon as they noticed that Obey were gonna put more people there, they just threw that incendiary on top, and that's a great cancellation. And reading the map and reading their opponent is something that a lot of these teams should be doing better. And EU's finest the only one that I've really seen so far that have really excelled in it. And there they baited the map picking, and then even throughout the whole game they had the number. They knew exactly what they wanted to do in terms of the picks and bans. They knew exactly what they wanted to do in terms of the weapon placements. And for me, that's how Gears should be played.
Yeah, 100%. I think the thing is as well that you touched on slightly was the fact that week in, week out, so far in the Pro League, we really haven't. I think that's the first time we've seen a mid-weapon placement in so this is our 5th game in 5 games.
Yeah.
So, and it comes from EU's finest. We see everybody else maybe sitting in the comfort zone of just placing these at home hills and saying to ourselves, well, let's just fight fire with fire. EU's finest are like, let's fight fire with water here and just let's just get crazy with it a little bit. And they play it in there. They play around it so perfectly, and they find the map very, very easily in the end.
Yeah.
We're going to be heading over to Asylum in a second, and I am seriously worried for OB Alliance now. That they needed to win that map, and I just thought that based on previous how they had played this, I was just thinking they may be able to pip it, but EU's finest look so good there. They look so good, and Asylum, I think for me, could be very similar. It's a very EU's finest map where they can just choke you out, play that Lancer fire, and they should be able to do that against OB Alliance based on that first map.
They did it fantastically against our damage. Yeah. The fact that this is EU's finest map pick as well scares me a little.
I'm quite concerned.
I mean, if you're EU's finest, you're not concerned, right? If you're Obey, though, you might be. But yeah, I think this might be very quick.
It could be. I think, a lot of people questioned at the beginning of the Pro League whether this really would be the EU's finest show, and I think we sort of got some deterrent to that in week number 1 at least, where Rated R really just came flying at them and tried to get something done and played really, really well and took the win. And I'd be really interested to see what happens next time they play each other. Based on what form we've seen from EU's finest here, they're putting everybody else to bed. So let's see what they do against Rated R next time around. Maybe they just are their counter. maybe it's just
right?
maybe that's it. But I honestly, with the way that EU's finest have played this past 2 weeks, I feel like I'm waxing lyrical about them, but it's hard not to with the way they are playing.
Yeah, it is, and honestly, it's kind of what we expected from a team that is 4th in the world, right?
Yeah.
That they consistently did that across Gears 4 to a lot of teams. It's not just this European Pro League. It is a global effect of EU's finest playing anyone. They do manage to smash a lot of people, and credit to them. They put the work in. They do put the work in. They play very, very well, and you see on screen here the maps 7-1 bunker. That's just testament to how well they do play. Asylum going to be that next map. Training Grounds the 3rd map. No surprise there, and honestly, I would love it to see that Training Grounds, but I can't see it getting there.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think if we are going to see a map number 3 anywhere, it might be in the 2nd game of the day. I don't feel like we'll see it here. EU's finest, though. Played this map once, I've won it once, indeed. And OB Alliance, not so much luck on it. I do believe they lost this one to our damage. Well, of course, after winning 2-0 against Rated R last week, of course they did. So, moving into Asylum, if you're OB Alliance here, what's the plan? I mean, win, but what's the plan? Because you've just been choked out on probably definitely your best map on paper, at least anyway. You're going into now EU's finest pick. What's the mentality? What is the idea?
You've got.
I mean, I presume that we're going to be restarting this one anyway, as Jack and Chris go a bit crazy on their own teammates either way. So we will get this one restarted in just a second. But, I mean, as I said, let's discuss what the plan is for OB Alliance here. Where do their strengths lie for you? Where they can possibly go in against EU's finest? I see you smiling. I don't think there is one, is there? I mean, they have strengths, but maybe not comparatively.
It's difficult, right? Because Obey kind of do everything EU's finest do, but just not quite as good.
Yeah.
Or vice versa, EU's finest do it extremely, extremely well. So that's where it becomes difficult for Obey to really pinpoint a certain area. For me, they have to do something that EU's finest aren't going to expect. Much like the drop shot placement.
Yeah.
In bunker, apologies.
Literally 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, little brain fart there, but we're good. We're back on track. On bunker, they have to do the same thing here on Asylum, and they have to take it out of EU's finest control, because that map went exactly how EU's finest expected it to. They had a plan. That plan got executed. There was no real reply from Obey, because by the time they realized what was happening, that they were already halfway through the map.
Yeah.
So for me, it has to be the opposite way around. We have to see Obey come in with a bit of a plan, something different, not just the usual. Oh, we're going to place our drop shot on this side.
It's not going to work.
We're going to place our boom shot or torp bow on the other side. And hope it works again, because I don't think that is going to work again.
No, you can see on a basic level that it's hard for you to beat EU's finest at their own game, which is basically playing the simple game of trying to get the 2 cap, holding it where you need to. But I think it's never going to work for Obey with the way that EU's finest are playing right now. It needs to be something different. It needs to be that mid drop potentially come through, like we've seen Obey Alliance get caught off guard last map. Maybe we can see it from EU's finest this time around. But I still think even if they did do that, I don't want to say it's a lost cause, but it's a bad spot to be in. And I feel as if people at home will sort of be like, oh, well, all you're talking about is how well EU's finest are playing, but they are that good at times.
They are that good.
It's hard to sort of argue against anything they do.
And the only way you can really look at it is kind of like a chess game, right? You got to be playing many plays ahead.
Yeah.
And what Obey really have to do here is they have to work out what EU's finest are planning, right? They have to work out step 1, right? What is their goal? Are they going to play down mid? Are they going to play for those homes? Are they, stacking one side of the map? They have to work out really what EU's finest are doing. Then they've got to work out what EU's finest are going to gain from that, which is already difficult, because you've got to kind of get into their head, right, and think, okay, so they've got this drop shot, they've got these incendiaries. How are they then going to play this next round? And in bunker, it was a case of piling on that boom shot and having one person hold the drop shot. That's step 2, right? And then step 3, if you've got to find a way,
it's the execution behind that as well, isn't it? Yeah.
You've got to make sure you're not dying whilst working this out, but you've also then got to work out exactly how you can then play on top of that to make their play something that is advantageous to you. And that's the difficult bit, because EU's finest, they cover all doors, right? If their plan doesn't work out, they've got a backup plan already.
Which is just beat them anyway.
Which is, it's already a good plan, right? Their backup plan is already going to be a good plan. So you kind of got to look like 3 down. Okay, they're going to react this way, then you got to go. It's a game of.
I've got a headache thinking about it.
And this is they're doing it while playing, right? We're just sat here talking about it. They've got to do it while playing. They've got to react on the fly as well, because they're not going to get told before the game what's happening. And if bunker's anything to go by, the VOD is not going to be any help either, because they played it completely differently. So
if you are listening back to this Obey Alliance, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. EU's finest were just so much better in that map number 1. Get the notebook out, look how they played it, and maybe just try and find some way to counteract it. But how do you do it? I think it comes down to trying to counter, but it's all about execution in the end. TJ and Kodo trying to get something done here, and straight away it's 2 kills going over towards EU's finest in the mid-map. They will probably get control of track side. They're getting aggressive over towards A. They want to steal this round pretty quickly, you feel. Saki, for albeit he was the leader in the eliminations, is just about going to get pushed out, but that flash is just about going to save one of the Obey Alliance members there. Let's push over towards A. It's just going to be maybe put off a little bit. They're expecting the C push coming through. Saki is going to find an important kill to Jack and will slow down the push from EU's finest. Obey Alliance in a bad spot at the start, though. May be able to fight out from the back, but nice from EU's finest. A really good initial break.
It was a good initial break. I liked Obey. They managed to survive just long enough. EU's finest, they were pushing for those long respawns, right? They were just trying to get as much control as they could in those opening space. And they got quite a lot, but EU's finest, they did overextend there, and we have to call out their faults when we do see them. And that, it was a little bit of a fault. They stayed a little bit too long. You saw Phelpsy get lanced down. We're seeing Craze now get taken down here as he's trying to fight for control over this B. And honestly, Obey, they've done well to come back into this after what was a pretty rough opening fight.
It looked like the exchange was really going to go over towards EU's finest and may still well go over towards them. Royal Guns is going to win an important gunfight. TJ finds Crimson's as well, so this is much better from Obey Alliance. And honestly, they just seem to have had the numbers over towards B and just won the gunfights. EU's finest maybe investing a little bit much towards it, not pushing as a team in that situation, so maybe a little bit cocksure of themselves in that round. But Obey Alliance will happily welcome the B control. See the push coming over towards top bridge though, so an A push is coming through from EU's Finest in just a second.
Let's have a look at what is going on over there. We do see Jack. He's going to go and gets a big kill on Breaker there. Now looking for his second, fighting TJ.
Oh.
Does get the down, looks like. Yeah, he gets the down actually. Hydro comes in and cleans that with him. But again, a nice take there from EU's Finest. They just push Obey off that hill. Nice focus fire as well there to take out TJ. And well, this is really good from EU's Finest.
There's one player left over towards B as well, and he's really going to have to stay alive. And thankfully for Demonic, the trains have arrived on time just to maybe slow down the push from EU's Finest, but they are going to now wrap back around and they will try and get a hold of B. They will lose it. They're quite happy to let Obey Alliance get a hold of that one, but EU's Finest now have the numbers over towards B. Demonic, you have to back down. You just have to back down here. There is nothing you can do. 3 members of EU's Finest here set up a Lancer Fire. They're going to set up and get a hold of B. Demonic just... I mean, he did well to make the decision to just try and stay alive and wait for the rest of the team to come through. He is going to find the kill on the high drone eventually with the help of TJ. The push is going to come through. Very nice from Obey Alliance this time round, though. They back on down when they need to. They invest their numbers properly. They start to get aggressive. Phelps, he is going to catch Demonic off guard, though. Breaker's going to have to back on down. They were going for that C push. They went for the C push, and they've managed to get the C push, if anything. Really nicely done. This is looking like a domination coming in from Obey Alliance, and it will be. They find the round. That's much better from them. And you just felt that they were investing their numbers correctly this time.
Yep.
It felt as if they just moved around the map maybe a little bit better than the EU's Finest, and they benefit from that. 1-0 now.
I was a little bit worried there when Demonic just uppaid the cover without checking anything and got taken out, but the rest of his team did get those kills, got control over the C, and yeah, EU's Finest, they got caught off guard there, and I like to see that from Obey. They picked their fights well, and they didn't slow down when they got that first kill. That's kind of the catalyst for it, was that first kill, managed to get it on the tracks. We saw we saw Obey just playing their life as well over on that B hill, which was good from Demonic, as he dropped back when those trains were just leaving the station. Now the flashbangs come in, both sides.
So nothing too crazy. Not to be expected in round number 1, to be fair. But either way, a good start from Obey Alliance, exactly the start they would have wanted. And it was a nicely won round in the end. You know, it wasn't like they just sat back in their 2-cap and grinded it out. They rotated very, very nicely. If you use Finest, though, you maybe look back at that one and sort of say, maybe, could we got a little bit more aggressive in some of these exchanges? Could we have went for the domination earlier? They maybe played it a little bit too safe, considering some of the advantages that they may have had, like they have right now. At the beginning of the second round, they are going to get hold of B after finding 2 kills. Obey Alliance, deja vu for them.
It is deja vu. It was exactly the same play. We saw TJ get taken out in that middle, and the problem is he's getting lanced from high drone over under the pavilion, as well as getting pushed by Jackfex, and he's getting flash grenaded out. So it's a super difficult situation for him to get himself out of. They're trying to replicate that by flashing out Jack, but so much damage is being putting down that in the end, TJ, he's fallen twice now in that opening segment, and that is what is opening up this this B hill fight for EU's Finest. They're finding that opening kill very nicely in the middle.
Bit of a stalemate now, though. EU's Finest just sitting back on this 2-cap. It's all they need to do. We can see more numbers have been invested by Obey Alliance over towards B. Here comes the push. The flash comes through and will just slow down Jack to try and stop this himself. Here comes the flash back over towards Obey Alliance, though, but Jack gets caught with it, so that might slow things down, or will it, as Craze does find one. Breaker gets back into cover. B has been captured by nobody, actually, as it does get decapped by Obey Alliance, but at this moment in time, that's fine for EU's Finest. They know Obey have to make the push. The fire comes through. He gets dropped from middle from Phelps. Fantastic play by EU's Finest. Jack will quite happily go down. He'll help his team capture B. Here comes the push. Saki has to do something special. He finds himself without a head, though. Warrior Guns is going to be able to win a fight in the middle of the map, and he does actually find himself between a rock, a hard place, and an EU's Finest player, though, as he does go down. Jack, easy stuff from him, and EU's Finest just worked the numbers there. Fantastically played.
Yeah, perhaps a little bit overzealous there by Obeyers. They pushed in 1v3 really to try and stop that decap, and they were trying to trade out basically. But honestly, it might have been better just to regroup with your team over at your home hill and try again later. That said, let's have a look at this this 4-person push up top now. Flash grenades are going to come down. Hydron tries to get one, misses that first shot. He has got teammates in tow though. The A hill is going to get defended. It looks like TJ Breaker both getting kills himself. Demonic opening up now, and Obey. They look a lot better in this fight, and I like the aggression that I'm seeing from them. This is much more like their game against Rated R. They're managing to take the fight here to EU's Finest. And now it's all about this B hill.
TJ's the important player here. If he can get behind and get aggressive, then maybe something can happen. But Craze is going to win his gunfight. So patient there with the Nasha. TJ needs to go big He's going to take some shots. They're just going to back on down. Here comes Saki, though. Could this be it for them? They haven't captured A, though, and it's just not going to be enough. Swarm are going to eliminate after winning every single gunfight on the second time of asking. And EU's Finest will get on the board. A little bit of a threat from Obey there, but maybe it was just a little bit too late. I think if they're in a position where they do that maybe 20 seconds earlier, then yeah, great. But I think it was just a little bit too little too late, and you're having to force to rush for that domination come through.
They've also got to time it a little bit better there.
Yeah.
TJ came in a little bit late, and he basically, you know, his teammate, whoever it was on the B hill there, got left in a 1v2 situation for just a little bit too long, and perhaps whoever pushed in there, I didn't get the name, but they maybe should have just delayed a little bit, because you know, you have seconds to play with, and if you can fight for a 2v1 with 6 seconds remaining versus a 1v2 with 8, maybe you just give those 2 seconds a few seconds and you go in for that 2v2. We'll see if they can come back there, because it is still 1-1. We've got to remember, sorry, 2-1. 1-1? 2-1? 1-1 as we get into the third round. I was very confused myself. I could have sworn we had a
Numbers are hard, mate. Yeah, I know.
especially at this low level, right?
This low level, there's literally been 2 rounds.
Oh dear.
Well, the drop shot has now been placed, and TJ will pick that one up and find a kill onto Jack Vex, and that has been placed in the middle once again. EU's Finest continuing to throw curveballs at Obey Alliance, and they ain't catching them. Or hitting them. Curveball's more than... It's a baseball thing, isn't it? Sorry, you know, we didn't even catch the drop shot. You were talking about rounds 1, 2, and 3 here.
Drop shot's here, we got it.
The drop shot's in. The drop shot's
Wow.
in. Your maths
We're having a
put
good
me
round.
off.
Maths, that's the problem, there was none.
Yeah, there was none.
There
Indeed.
was none.
No observation either, clearly.
No, nothing at all. Absolutely nothing.
You threw me off. Either way, Obey Alliance aren't going to manage to get a hold of B here, but they have lost the drop shot.
Sorry.
In the process, mate. It's okay. It happens to the best of us. Hydron is going to go down though. So for all that they did lose control of the drop shot, I tell you what though, that might cause some damage. It has not. TJ not able to do much with it on this side of things. It's a good start from Obey Alliance. Happy to get things done here. They've got control of B. They have the drop shot. Haven't really invested it wisely, but the threat is enough to keep EU's Finest away. And that's why they've got a hold of B. Nicely done by Obey.
Yep, they are. The first time they've got a point lead off this opening start, really, in these 3 rounds. And maybe the drop shot should have been placed slightly to the left and let his teammate clean up the down. But either way, they've forced off that push from EU's Finest. They've still got control over B, and they've used it to decent use. I think they've still got control here, and that's, you know, ultimately the goal, right? Is to keep that control. So 47 seconds on the clock, and now it's up to EU's Finest to work out this plan. How did they respond? How do they push in at these these later seconds? It looks like they're got a bit of an angle down here onto Breaker. Jack pushing up to try and get the kill. Does get taken very, very red. Demonic had the Lancer angle there. Let's see what's going on elsewhere. We do get a traded down, so Hydron goes down, Breaker goes down. We do see Jack manage to clean up that kill. He's going to get the revive as well, but Saki and Demonic both get 2 for themselves. So that's a great kill there by Jack, actually.
Is it going to be enough, though? I don't feel as if it is. Teacher's actually going to go down to the trains. Cog team will win under this condition. It has to be a domination coming through here from EU's Finest, and there just is not enough time. C needs to go massive over towards C here. Demonic really, he actually needs to win this gunfight. They have managed to decap this one, so Swarm can win. Demonic is going to win the gunfight, though. Important for him. He will find Crimsons. This should be the round now over towards Obey Alliance, who will take the lead once again. 2-1 now. A lot better showing than I thought we'd see. It has to be said. They're just... I mean, I don't want to say outslaying, but they're winning the important gunfights where they need to, and that's really putting them in a good position to win these rounds. 2-1 now. Their turn to pick something. Are they going to just throw it down on their side of things? Yep. Nothing too crazy here. And just looking, actually, so...
It looks like it was EU's Finest that put the drop shot down.
It was, okay.
We see Obey Alliance. They've got 90 seconds, so they've got that quicker respawn. No, sorry, the opposite way around. My bad. It was EU's Finest that placed the shock.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because they had the shocks on their side, so it must have actually been Obey. Sort of said, well, if you want to play this game,
yeah, we'll respond and do the same thing. Let's see how you like it on your map.
And the shocks didn't work out for EU's Finest in that previous round, clearly. Not working out, and...
Should we see what they're doing with it?
Yeah, let's see. I can imagine it's just going to go over towards the drop shot. I mean, that would make sense.
Let's have a look. Looks like... What have we got up here?
Stop seeing Cola putting the Lancer Fire in. That's a lot of Lancer Fire coming through. And that's because the shock grenade just doesn't come through that quick. I think if you're TJ there, you're making that push on the presumption that the shot grenade is going to go over towards stairs and shut down this Lancer Fire coming through, but the aggressive player coming out of Phelpsy now as he pushes forward. He's not going to be able to quite get a hold of it. Lots of shots coming in from mid-map, but I think that's from Breaker and co. And that's just going to allow things to maybe go in AOB Alliance's favor. It felt like it would. But as EU's Finest do, sometimes they just find a will and find a way to shut down something coming out of AOB Alliance. And they will actually find a kill there. Warrior Guns picking up a weak Jack Vex. On the back of all this, though, B has went over towards AOB Alliance, but the tools are with EU's Finest to try and fight back.
Both teams as well not opting to take their home hill. They're going to get it off that respawn. So this is the first hill to go down for the first time in this map as well. It was a good fight there by EU's Finest to get that drop shot out alive. They have got that to work with.
They invested a lot into it.
They
has
did.
To be said.
They did. And if they can use this to good effect, which it looks like so far they haven't, they may be able to get this B hill back. And they really have to force Obey out of this middle channel right now. You see Breaker backing up a little bit there, so he knows there's that threat there. He knows that there is a possibility of getting double drop shotted, and you don't want that to happen. So he's gonna just kind of leave it here, trying to have a little scout around. Let's see what else we can find. As Demonic looks to have an angle through the mid. It's Warrior Gun sat in the middle there. That's what I was trying to find, who was sat down there. So potentially the sacrificial lamb if this drop shot does come through. We've seen it last time against our damage actually, that they put the drop shot through the window. But it looks like the push is now coming across the train tracks.
Saki is going to go down from the Lancer Fire. Is his teammate going to get there in time? Yes, he is. Saki's going to get back up, but will be put down instantly. They don't even need the drop shot in the end. Fantastic play from EU's Finest. Just get things done. Lancer Fire and Nash are all coming through very effectively. Now, if you're TJ, you are pushing over towards C. You have your teammate with you. But really, this is not a spot you want to be in. They've got members of EU's Finest pushing from two different angles. TJ has to go massive here. The rest of the team are coming up off spawn, though. And if you're EU's Finest, it wouldn't be a surprise to see them back on down here. They quite often do this. They get aggressive. They can't take the advantage. They're back on down. This time round, though, they have not. Phelpsy and Hydro working well together. Warrior Guns goes down. The domination may well come through here. Breaker tries to make a push, as does Saki. They both die. And EU's Finest find themselves back into this game. Trading blows here through.
That they are. Back and forth, back and forth. We see Obey, though. They did get that first win on the board, so see if they can carry on the pattern and win this next one. So we do go into this fifth round. Interesting to see what the weapon placements will be here. It looks like Obey, they've just been kind of building up their home. As we see, EU's Finest, they are splitting those grenades across both tracks and their admin side, so we'll see how it goes first. They obviously get that first pick, being the winning team there. So Incendiary is going to go down on the track side. Smoke grenade there as the reply. So kind of interesting here that we are seeing EU's Finest just say, okay, well, we're happy just to keep this advantage now. We've seen Obey use a placement in that middle, and now EU's Finest, they actually have the advantage on their home hills, on their home placements. So that's kind of interesting.
So they're probably going to try and use that to get a hold of the drop shot. Are they? Oh, how that was. If you're TJ, you're really not in a good spot there and has not played that well. Jackflex is going to go down from some fire. It looks like from mid-map. It's up to EU's Finest now to try and win in a couple of these gunfights because they do have drop shot control here if they want it. Saki is going to find Crimson's, as does Breaker, clean that one up. But look at this top control from EU's Finest. They're quite happy to allow a couple of gunfights to go over towards the enemy team in the mid-map. Jackflex is going to go down once again. One more time and he will be dropped, and he does have that drop shot in hand. Oh, it's not a great use either. Crimson's and Cole going to have to try and do the work for him to back on down. And he is going to have to back on down. Obey Alliance with a really good start once again. Not the same efficiency we see from EU's Finest in the first map, but can he answer back with something here? Absolutely not. Jackvex not quite using that drop shot to effective use. But the kills are coming through for EU's Finest here. They are going to get control of up top mid, but they have control of very little else.
Yeah, little else it is, and they have got a bit of a point deficit as well. We're seeing about a 40-point lead here for Obey. They did get control of this B side. Hydro, he's having a look now. Has got a bit of backup in Crimson's, and they are flying across this top track side as they're trying to get a bit of control over this area here. Just going to back off for a few seconds just to, I guess, get the lay of the land, find out where the opposition is. The trains are going to come in a second as well, so we see players start to reposition here. It's just the one train this time, so shouldn't affect the fight too much. Let's have a look at Bridge side. Bridge side, nothing real happening. Phelpsy and Warrior Guns just kind of posturing, just keeping an eye on one another. Do you see the flash grenade go down?
And it's just a bit of a stalemate here, isn't it? It's about EU's Finest just trying to find a crack in the defense of Obey Alliance here. It's difficult for them to do so. Obey set up much nicer than we seen them really get set up in the first
Saki's
map.
going to be the play.
Yeah, I think that is going to be it. They're going to point them out. The Lance of Fire comes through. Here comes the push. Saki will do well to survive. Never mind find anything. He is actually going to trade, so he'll take that one. Demonic is going to get a hold of the shocks, though. Will they come into play for the rest of this round? Cog team with the win condition. That will change in a second, you feel, though, as EU's Finest do make this push over towards B. They are behind, but they should be able to be in the win condition of B. Not quite. One hill is just about enough for Obey Alliance, so they've ticked the time down just long enough, as said. But EU's Finest making a lot of push and noise over towards this top side. That's because the drop shot's there. That could be the catalyst to get them into this round. They need at least a decap to win it.
They do indeed. They're a long way behind at this point, and they need to get hold of this A hill. You would imagine this push is going to be across this top bridge, using that drop shot to kind of clear a path through.
Well,
so
here we go.
What we can see.
Saki is going to find a kill on the Craze, though. That looked like it was in the mid map, and it's just going to be a back off. If anything, from TJ. He backs off. The rest of his team come through the back. Jackvex has to go massive. It's not going to happen. Saki is actually going to take Crimson down with the train. Not sure how that happened. I presume just an assist going to come through. Not quite enough, though. And Demonic and Co. will grind that round out once again. 3-2. He's got a little bit scary, but I think the fact that Saki wins the gunfight in the mid-map is so important, because if they get flanked, then you're in a bad spot. But really big gunfights to be won from Saki finds them. 3-2 to Obey Alliance now. Continue to trade blows here through. Seeing a lot better play here from Obey, though, has to be said.
It is a lot better. I'm questioning Crimson's involvement in a lot of this at the moment. In the loss against Rated R.
Good lord, I just noticed that.
Yeah, we called him we called him out in the loss against Rated R for the same situation, just not being really involved in anything so far. Not dying too much either. It's just he's not really getting those shots in when they're needed. That said, though, let's have a look at the overhead map, see if anything has changed. We have got a boom shot down on the bottom side here for EU's Finest, so that's definitely a change. Incendiaries going down in the way of Obey Alliance.
Well, let's see. What can EU's Finest get done with this little bit of an
there
advantage?
by TJ.
TJ is going to take down Hydrone, the headshot with the drop shot. Nicely done. And that is going to give them that little bit of an advantage over towards top bridge side, but they choose to invest everything over towards B. They have a hold of C. EU's Finest yet to capture their home hill. Don't really want to make that push. I think they're worried about the drop shot being there and the control being there as well for Obey Alliance up top. Breaker now has cover. And if you are Phelpsy with the drop shot, you maybe have to invest this over towards B. TJ is here with the drop shot. Phelpsy with the boom. This is going to be a big gunfight here, though. The train does come through. Must be them new silent trains. Didn't make a single bit of noise, yeah. TJ, though, this is the important play. He's the one that needs to stay alive for Obey Alliance. On the other side of things, though, it is going to be Phelpsy with this boom shot. And this is probably what's going to determine this round. Phelps is going to make the push through. The boom shot is going to come on to Saki, though. And the rest of EU's Finest will now make their move. It's down to TJ, though. Can he answer in turn with a big drop shot play here? Flashed out, and he is going to get pushed away. Perfect timing on that flash, and TJ has to back on down. Just about survives, but not for long. Is going to get dropped by Hydrone. Nobody here to pick him up, or is there? Saki there now. It's just about going to get him out. TJ goes down once again. He really needs to get his teammate up, and they need to survive here. TJ is going to get taken down by Crimson's. Perfectly played by EU's Finest. Are you likely to see a better time flash than that?
It was perfect. You saw TJ just try and get that drop shot over the cover. Didn't manage to get it because that flash was pinpoint. It was exactly where it needed to be, exactly at the right time. And yeah, in the end, it cost TJ his life, right? It was that good of a flash. Talking about lives, we do see Crimson go down. He's going to get taken out. Craze managed to back off. Hydrone is there for a little bit of support. Things are just going to go kind of back to even again. Swarm will win this time in 60 seconds, so 1 minute on the go, but the decap is there. Very, very quick decap there from Obey, and I like what I'm seeing. Train's going to come through both sides this time.
TJ might survive just because of that as well. The cover's going to come through on both sides, so he will be able to back on down. Breaker's going to get a hold of the drop shot as well. And this is actually the COG team in a good position. If you're Obey Alliance, you're in the win condition here. Jack's actually going to go down to the, what I presume was the train or something, though. But either way, 3 members of EU's Finest now going down. Obey Alliance, though, are going down themselves. So trades coming through. Breaker, can he find anything here with the drop shot? Finds Hydro, and the push will now come through towards B. And once again, it is Obey Alliance's win condition. This is their chance now to get themselves in a good spot in this game. 3-2 up. It's looking like it could be 4, and eventually they could extend that to a 2-round lead. Drop shot was used well by Obey Alliance. The boom shot finds one. If you're EU's Finance, but it's not going to happen surely for them. This is a big round for Obey Alliance. They should be able to win this one. They are going to win this one. 4-2 now. Good work from Obey Alliance. Grounded that one out once again, but eventually do get that 2-round lead.
Yeah, I like what I'm seeing here from Obey. They're getting that drop shot out very, very quickly. And they just managed to take that round and just slow everything down once again. They managed to do it last week, against Rated R. They just managed to just keep control of the map, basically, keep control of the weapons and not use them too brashly. We saw in their game against our damage that they kind of wasted their power weapons a little bit. This time around, they're using them to much better effect. Again, another nice play here in the middle. They've managed to get it down. If they can clean up it down, this would be big. See, Jack actually managed to just crawl down, just gets down just in time, and a boom shot comes out from Phelpsy. A double kill it is. That takes out the drop shot as well, and this is huge for EU's Finest. They are going to push on. They're going to pick up that drop shot. Assuming it is on the floor. Yes, Phelpsy has picked up the drop shot now, so drop shot in their hands. Trying to find final member of Obey, Warrior Guns. He managed to keep himself alive. That's good play. It's better play from Warrior Guns. It means that Obey, they can attack back now with all 5 members up. They have got to be careful, though. This drop shot may come in soon.
You feel as if it will, but that's massive play out of Hydron. Finding 2 up there. Oh, and he might find 2 with the drop as well. Phelpsy is just about going to find the 1. It was looking like it was going to be 2 there with the drop shot. He must have just got round the corner and away. But the bait comes through with the down player, and they nearly find it. But either way, EU's Finest playing well in this round so far. Warrior Gun's now going to make the push forward. Can't quite cap from this position and will be shot away. Trying just to get something done on the decap side of things, but has to be careful. Maybe just trying to bait out that drop shot, I want to say, but that's already been taken. Warrior Guns getting aggressive. It is going to go down. Phelpsy's going to find the kill on Demonic, and then onto Warrior Guns. Nicely played by him. Can he find a 3rd? He may need to, actually. If they want to keep a hold of this middle hill over towards E. Of course, we have reset the points now up towards up top. Crazed will find 2, though, and that will allow EU's Finest to finally make their push.
That they did. It was a hard-fought push, but they got there in the end. They will win in about 45 seconds if rings stay this way. Obviously, Obey, they're going to be back on their feet in just a couple of seconds, so expect them to come in with a new push. Let's have a look on the mini-map. Let's see what we can find. 11 seconds here on the shot grenade, 10 seconds on the shock, 10 seconds on the incendiary, 40 on the boom shot. So they are going to have a slight advantage. Just about 30 seconds of advantage if they can last that long. That's the question.
If EU's Finest are just going to back on down, they're probably just going to wait for the boom shot. It makes perfect sense, but they are just about going to stay alive in this situation, though. It's only going to be Warrior Guns that does go down momentarily. All 5 members of EU's Finest stayed up, so Breaker is going to get a hold of this drop shot. And that's where the play is going to happen if you are Obey Alliance.
Yeah,
Swarm's still winning here off the 1 cap. So the push does actually have to come through from Obey Alliance. Warrior Guns and Demonic, though, getting things done. They will keep continuously dropping Jack and now Phelpsy. Everybody picking everybody up here. Crimson's now is going to find a kill on the Warrior Guns. Phelpsy just trying to get aggressive, trying to shut down this push. Saki is going to find him. And if you're EU's Finest, have you extended to the other side to shut it down? You don't need to as the kills start to come through. You will get a hold of it. You will get a hold of the round. EU's Finest back into this one now. TJ will do well to do anything with the boom shot from there. I respect the effort, but 4-3 is now the score to EU's Finest.
Tell you what, if he'd have hit that boom shot, that would have been the best boom shot Gears 5 period. No one could have topped that. Last second place to win the round.
There.
Yep, that would have been it. Obey win. But no, EU's Finest, they did have a good hold there. Great downs there on Breaker picking up that drop shot, and that's pretty much what solidified that win for them. If Breaker had managed to get that drop shot out, maybe then they had a chance at just cleaning up that fight. But no, well played by EU's Finest. Boom shot is going to get placed. It is going to get halved in terms of the respawn. And we'll see what Saki has to in reply. Looks like it might be an upgrade himself.
Boom shot coming down now from Obey Alliance as well.
And this is where it gets tricky, because if you're the team that is making that middle weapon placement, and it's a 50-50 fight, you give the opposing team a full round's advantage in terms of weapon placements just to place that. And later on, when these boom shots are getting halved in time and yours is still on 150 seconds, you really start to notice it. So it's one of the reasons why we don't really see as many weapon placements in that middle track as we would like to. It is super risky, and you've really you're putting yourself at a disadvantage, and still then basically putting yourself in a 50-50 to win that fight.
Phelps is going to find a kill on Warrior Guns with that boom. TJ now doesn't actually have control up top here, but he has 3 members of EU's Finest pushing him. They will find him and will take him down. They will now capture EU Field as well. Still 2 members of OB Alliance lingering around here though, and will make the push coming through. Phelps is going to find the drop shot back on down. They may not capture E, but they have the tools to do so.
They do. They do indeed. You see Phelps' inventory down there on the bottom right-hand side. He's got both the boom shot and the drop shot in hand.
Must be nice.
Yeah, he will probably trade out that boom shot, I guess, for a Nasher. Or maybe trade it off to a teammate or something like that. But right now, he is the power weapon man.
Well, Phelps is just playing this one slowly. He knows the rest of his team. Just going to try and cover where they can. They have control of E, albeit it looks like just momentarily. The drop shot comes through, though. Will take down Breaker. They also now have a boom shot in their back pocket as well, as this push towards E is going to have to come through once again. And they will probably use that to just try and get control of it. All saying that they're in the position to win this off of 1 cap. Drop shot possibly going to come through. Doesn't need to as Hydro finds the kill with the boom. EU's Finest just trading blows, but they seem to always have the heavier hands, if you like. It just seems as if they are in control of more of these power weapons on odd occasions, and it's just allowing them to get back into this game. Hydro's going to find TJ. It's just well worked once again by EU's Finest. It doesn't have to be anything flashy. It's just efficient use of what resources you have, what players you have, what weapons you have. And every single time, it just seems to be perfect from them. And they will get themselves back into this game if they win this round. Breaker's going to have to back on down. Has to use some sort of utility to get this back from EU's Finest, who are set up 4 men deep over towards E.
That's it. They don't want to give up this hill lightly. You see the shot grenade here going to come out from Phelps. He went back at the same time to pick his up, and the whole entire bridge is just going to get shot grenaded out, and no one can really move. Hydron is going to go down, but he can't get... Well, he can get downed again. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get taken out. It does indeed. Saki pushes out of the middle. Does manage to find that kill. Trades his life for it though. Breaker, he managed to get a kill on Crazed. And it looks like EU's Finest, they are actually losing this. TJ picks up a boom shot, as does Crimson. So 2 boom shots now in play. We've got to keep an eye on those, as they're going to back up this fight. There's one. Crimson's managed to get a kill with a boom shot. TJ's here with his though, and let's see what he can do with it. Does manage to get the kill on Jackfex, and the push is on.
The problem is here is that Swarm still win with the 1 position. These drop shots have to be solid. You're not going to find much apart from your teammate if your Warrior Guns does find the kill on the Hydron secondary though. He's going to send one through towards this left-hand side, expecting the push to come through. And Warrior Guns, we needed to see pretty much a perfect use of the drop shot there, and he will get taken down. A fantastic gunfight won by Crimson's there. And this should surely now be the round over towards EU's Finest. They will win in 1 second, and it comes down to just some very, very patient play in the end. A very, very close round, but one that always felt like it was in EU's Finest hands.
Yeah, I mean, Obey, they were scrapping over that neutral hill as if it was EU's Finest home hill, right? They were really having to fight hard for it. And EU's Finest, they basically had no pressure on their home hill the entire round. And that's an issue.
Yeah.
If you're Obey, you need to be looking at maybe drawing some members away.
Maybe doing something else, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And right now, they're just stacking up on this.
It's
on
very
this
linear play, isn't it? It's like they're stuck in a rut, and it's just they're tunnel visioning through the middle.
They've made that bet though by placing that drop shot there, and that's something they've got to look at. Is, you know, they made this bet, they're doubling down on it, and they're still losing, right? How much money do you lose? Let's have a look.
Well, it is 4-4, so they've been doing something right on occasion, but maybe in that situation that we just seen, you would have maybe like to see something a little bit different.
You can't play every round the same, because eventually your opposition will start to read you. And exactly as we say that, that's exactly what happened previously. That said though, Warrior Guns does manage to get in there secondary and pick that up, and that's pretty good play from Obey. They've realized that there is a window there. Just get a little kill there, and another kill comes out there from Warrior Guns with that drop shot. 3 of his own. Fantastic play by him. Was 1 on his team member, but they do get that home hill. They are going to be able to push across. They've got to be very, very careful now, because there are going to be members of EU's Finest coming off spawn, and they could have put themselves in a bad situation here by doing this.
They could have done. Warrior Guns' second drop shot was a little bit wayward over towards the tracks, but Breaker will benefit from that, because everybody had to get out the way and unfortunately jump into a train. But they're going to have to back on down now. I respect the aggressive push coming out from them there. And they tried to put a EU's Finest in a bad spot, but now they may have just lost a little bit of map control here. Demonic now left alone, will find the kill and will back on down as well. Now it's a EU's Finest in a position to try and set up, to try and get this E hill back. Jack is going to find a Warrior and will just about clean that one up as well, so It's about to be a 3v2 situation in favor of EU's finest. Demonic and Co, though, having to back on down here. Drop shot is, boom shot is going to be picked up by Crazed, and it's going to make its way over towards B, and this is what's going to be the difference, because we said these guns for EU's finest, the boom shot's coming up a lot more often, and they're using it well, and that seems to be how they're finding themselves back in this game. Crazed now just waiting for a moment to use this correctly. Jackfex and Phelpsy now making the push up towards this halfway point. They are capturing. They know that OB have to make this push in a second if they want to prevent this, and that's where Crazed is going to be set up. He's just waiting for this push to come through. But the thing is, for OB Alliance, they know that that's available for him, so they're back on down. It wouldn't surprise me to wait for this push to come through for OB Alliance when the drop shot, when the boom shot comes up for them, but it might not be actually enough time. The kills come through for EU's finest. It's still a COG team win condition here, though, so OB Alliance are still in an alright spot. EU's finest have to do something different here.
They do. I mean, they've got a little bit of time to play with, which is the main thing that they've got to look at here. Is they've got about 40 seconds before
they've got a drop shot too.
Obey will win. The first thing that they're looking at is how many weapons can we get for this assault on that home hill. So we'll see. I'm pointing out TJ here because this is a little bit of a sneaky play. Quite honestly, I would not have shot there. Hydrone may have known he was there, but if he didn't, then he's given away his position, and the fight here on F is going to be big. We see the boom shot come down. Crimson's got to use this well if he wants to be if he wants to confirm this round for his team. Doesn't actually manage to get it. Demonic's going to get down. Hydrone is going to chase round as well. Demonic gets 2. If he can get this decap, this should be Obey Alliance's round. It looks like they're going to keep their home hill. No, I say that D does get decapped, but they're going to cap F, and that should be COG team winning.
They did enough in the end. They just about did enough in the end. 5-4 now. And they just kept them away from it, didn't they? I think I sort of half agree with the shooting, because I know what you mean. If he plays that maybe a little bit slower and sort of just goes for the surprise, then maybe it's something to go with. But the fact that he's drawing members out from the other push on the other side of things as well.
And after the fact, actually, that with the boom shot coming up, you know, if you take the shot, you've weakened them as that boom shot pickup's coming up, then maybe you can win that fight.
Yeah.
So, you know, in hindsight, actually, it might have been the right play to take that shot.
Well, the disable comes through on OB Alliance's boom. So
I don't think that's a bad...
It's not a bad shout.
A bad shout, to be honest with you.
So there's no shock for them pushing over towards drop shot for EU's finest, but no boom shot over towards the home hill if you are OB Alliance. So
it is going to be a 4 push up top now as well from Obey.
And that's because they know that the shocks aren't there. Exactly. They know the shocks aren't there, so they've got a free drop shot, essentially.
And that's not going to be there for 3 rounds now, so that actually a really good timed block there from Obey. And they're going to come out with 2 hills. They're going to come out with this drop shot. And you know, you do have this boom shot, but quite honestly, you know, what have you done with it so far? You need to be getting to the fight and being able to use it. And Obey, they've managed to back out very, very quickly, and they're pretty safe at the moment.
And I think if you're EU's finest there, yes, okay, as you said, they've got the boom shot. They should have rotated that round instantly towards the drop shot, you feel?
I would have gone home side.
I'll just rotate around the home side?
Yeah, because you've got that boom shot versus nothing on that home side. Worst case, you know, you get home hill for free if they leave it, right? Best case, you draw members away from that E fight, you give your team a chance to take it, or you get a couple of kills with that boom shot, right? You're drawing a lot of attention over to yourself. And that's what the boom shot does, right? It makes players take notice of you and have to respect you. And there comes the kill with it.
Obviously, that's going to take down Warrior Guns. So now, EU's finest will start getting aggressive onto TJ. Must be a big kill if they can find it, as TJ actually does have the drop shot, which hasn't been invested at all. And EU's finest just flick a switch once again. This may be a domination. Plenty of kills going to come through here as well. Warrior Guns has to go massive for his team. It's not going to happen. This will be an elimination win for EU's finest. And it felt like OB Alliance had the tools there. And then suddenly TJ is left on his own. He gets pushed out.
Yep.
And he gets taken down. And suddenly the round all just going over towards EU's finest. They win every single gunfight across the map.
You can see it on the kills. I mean, have a look at the eliminations right here. 41 there from Crazed and Phelpsy, and we're still seeing him stack up that 4-point KDA there, Crazed, 41-7, and this is honestly why they're still in this game. If Crazed, if Phelpsy were not putting up these numbers, they probably wouldn't be anywhere near this 5-5 right now. You know, we maybe have to mention Jack there as well, but quite honestly, it is the 2 above that are really making a difference here. They have had the majority of the power weapons as well.
So Shock now placed in half for OB Alliance, so that will be coming up more often. And I believe that was actually, going over towards the Swarm loadout side of things for EU's Finest with a bit more utility.
And it looks like now this actually a change of strategy here from EU's Finest. They've lagged out by the looks of things. They did notice that they had they didn't have a chance basically at that E-Hill. So what they did there is they went back. They looked at the drawing board. They said, okay, let's prioritize that tracks. And it's a good response, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
They realized how badly they got beaten at that mid-hill when they didn't have that shock available, and they adjusted their plan, and that's good to see that instantly that reaction was made.
Yes, reactions made. But we will find out what's going on in this game very, very shortly. But it's a close one in map number 2.
Yes.
Not really what we expected at all. I mean, from you, what have you seen better out of OB Alliance that's actually allowed them to get in this position? Do you think they're just playing... For me, it's just a general all-around playing a lot better. It's winning gunfights, it's rotations. They're just doing everything that they need to do to call gameplay a lot better in this map, and it's just a bit annoying that we didn't see that on Bunker.
I think they got thrown a little bit with those placements on Bunker. They have a very specific plan for that map, and that got completely taken off the board, and EU's Finest said, no, here's our plan, and that's what they played, right? And this time around, I think Obey they've been a bit more liberal with their placements. They're not as structured as they have been before. I think they've looked at that previous game and gone, okay, maybe this is how we need to start playing a little bit more. And they figured out some ways to play around the weapon placements that, honestly, this map, they look better in that regard. They honestly do. And like at the end there with the block on the shot grenade, a lot of teams would have just been like, okay, let's just keep upgrading. Right, let's just keep upgrading. But they realized, okay, we've got 2 rounds to win. What's our win condition here? We're losing that drop shot that we placed quite a lot. How do we make sure that becomes ours?
With the shock from the other side, allow the push to come through.
Exactly so. But it's one of those things where it's game by game, right? That's the kind of difficult thing for me, is that it's game by game. And you see some teams play very, very well this way on one map, but then the next map, EU's Finest now, they're getting out strategized, I guess you can call it. It's not really it is strategy, but it's not something that you can really put into place beforehand, because it's very reactive to what's happening in the game. And I like to see that from Obey. I think that's honestly the real reason why they are in this position right now, is that they've changed up how EU's Finest have been playing the map, which is good to see, right?
Well, we are going to get a reset on the go, and I believe it was 5-5, so we're going to possibly see 3 more rounds of Asylum very, very shortly. We will get over to that quite quickly. What's the predictions then, based on what we've seen, based on the position we were in that game? What are we thinking? It's
difficult, isn't it? It really is difficult, because we said, okay, maybe 2-1 if they win Bunker. Okay, maybe actually it looks like a 2-0 after Bunker. But quite honestly now,
it's weird,
it's 50-50
isn't it?
between these two teams. That Obey, if they can get hold of this drop shot and make use with it, I can see them winning. Right, I honestly can. The problem is that last round they got the drop shot out. They didn't make use of it at all, really.
Not really, no. And I think that's been one of their problems, though, is that the drop shot use is just not been that great full stop over the course of the season so far. I think the only one I can sort of recall is 1 3-man from Breaker, but other than that, we've seen it be wasted quite a lot.
It's either really good or really bad.
Yeah.
We saw it from Warrior Guns in the previous game. Yes, he got a triple kill, but the next round he killed his teammate. And you take the good with the bad with that weapon. It is a difficult weapon to play with, especially on that such a small ground like that bridge. But
and I think maybe the difference is that EU's Finest, they never seem to find 2 or 3, but they're always finding at least 1. That's the thing.
Yes.
They're using it efficiently and then just using the numbers around it. I can see why trying to get things started up once again. Of course, we will have to run back through and get the weapon placements correctly and whatnot, so we'll be a little bit of time before we go back into this map. I don't know. I just favour EU's Finest. I feel like they've got that clutch factor when they need it. Although saying that, OB Alliance last week against Red Dot definitely had the clutch factor, if you like, when it really came down to that final round.
They were, 3 rounds down and came back? I think it was 6-5.
I want to say they were 5-2 down at one point.
5-2 and then
6-5. And then came back all the way to and won it 7-5 or
7-6.
7-6, yeah.
Yeah.
This maths thing again. We're here again.
We're terrible at it, aren't we?
Yeah, unfortunately. But I think I just fancy EU's finest to close up. As we said, they invest a lot in the drop shot if you are OB Alliance. They're putting a lot of resource over towards that, but they maybe aren't finding enough with that drop shot to get them a win.
So the thing that I will go on, it really depends if Obey noticed what EU's finest were doing at the very start of that round. That's kind of the pending factor for me, is if they noticed, what EU's finest were doing, and if they get that drop shot out and they can utilize it, then perhaps they win. Perhaps. But if they don't,
there's a lot of conditions to this,
exactly.
Isn't there?
But if they don't, EU's finest, we saw them make that change to their strategy. They obviously have a plan going into these last couple of rounds, and honestly, that to me seems like I'm going to go with the team that has been proactive in this situation. I think you're right. I think maybe EU's finest do have that clutch factor, will come out with a win. But there is that but.
Yeah, there is that, but I think we're going to go to a quick break while we do actually get things started up, because we have to go back through, we have to get the weapon placements right.
Yep.
You don't want to listen to us waffle for 10 more minutes, so we're going to go to a very, very quick break, and we'll be back with the end of map number 2 and perhaps map number 3 between EU's finest and OB Alliance.
Break the silence, down the dark, down the light. And if you don't love me now, you will never love me again. I can still hear you saying you must never break the chain. I can still hear you saying you would never break the chain.
I'll be back.
This is my kind of...
Hi guys and welcome back to the EU Pro League. My name is Tony, I'm here with Fru, and we were rudely interrupted by a disconnection. So we are having to load back into the map, and we are most of the way through. We're nearly there. We're nearly there in terms of placement. We've got 2 more rounds to go, so the guys are just running through once again. So the weapon placements are exactly the same, etc., etc., etc. And then we're going to be back at 5-5. Very evenly poised, not many rounds to go, and it's really needed from Obey Alliance here, though, isn't it? EU's finest 1-0 up in the series. Could close it out here.
Yeah, I mean, who'd have thought it, right? After a bit of a slapper of a first map, they come back and they're giving us a fantastic show here on Asylum. 5-5. They've been playing around with the weapon placements a little bit. Yeah. They've had triple kills. They've had team kills. It's just an exciting game to watch, to be honest with you. And yeah, I hope this goes to round 13. I really do. And
it's been a bit of a grind, hasn't it? I think, both two teams just taking their advantages where they needed to. It hasn't necessarily been one of these things where, it's been just high slaying and somebody just winning that one gunfight. I think it's just been a case of, getting to the point of where you will have that 2-cup. You're using that advantage to win the rounds, and that's exactly what OB Alliance have been doing a lot better in this game. Overall, though, it's just been 100% better from them than we've seen in map number 1, where they really weren't at the races at all. No. They looked poor, if anything, in map number 1.
Yeah, they did. They honestly did. And honestly, they got outplayed across the board, both on a slaying wise, on a picks and bans wise. They got baited into picking their own map, and then obviously EU's Finest had a very interesting strategy for that map, and honestly they played it well. We can't take away from EU's Finest. They did play that very, very well, and I liked what I saw from them there.
Yeah, a lot better from them on Bunker, and I think that will probably put a little few things in the mixer with pick and bans as we do now go on, which I'm sure we'll find out from next week. We are into the final round of teams getting caught back up, so we'll be starting within the next 30 to 40 seconds, I'd imagine. But yeah, it's been an interesting game so far. We're going to jump back into it very, very shortly, and pretty much now. Actually, I think we're pretty much ready to go in. So 3 more rounds to go between these two. We are going back in at 5 apiece. Final weapon placements now coming through, and they will reflect what we've seen first time round as well. And what's the predictions? You were saying you think OB Alliance might be able to take this, but
we got to have a look at how things sit on the map right now, right? We've seen that drop shot placed up top from Obey. We can see right there that the shot grenades on EU's Finest sides, they're blocked out, so they're not going to be able to use those in that top fight. Obey, they do have a shot grenade, so this should be a free pick. What we saw previously from EU's Finest is that they tried to push heavy, and it looks like they're going to be doing the same thing again. They're going to rotate that boom shot around to the drop shot. Looks like Obey, though, they've already got this drop shot out and gone. So that's actually really nicely played there by Obey. They recognized exactly what happened the previous round. They got boom shotted, right? They had to use that second person to pick up the drop shot. This time around, they delayed a bit, but there goes the boom shot again.
That's a boom shot onto TJ, who had the drop shot as well. Massive plays out of Phelpsy, and that might just be an important kill coming in from Hydro. Fantastic play out of him. He takes him down, and now the drop shot's not in play. Everything that Obey Alliance have played for at the beginning of that round disappears so fast.
But you've got to know that's coming, right? If you're Obey, you have to respect that there is that boom shot on the map.
Why is TJ so far forward with the drop shot? Yeah,
it's a long-range weapon. You don't need to have sight lines to use it. Yet he's sat up top, and his teammates let him sit there. And that for me it's a misplay that could have cost them this map.
Could cost them the map. Could cost them the series. And now in a disadvantageous position. It is EU's Finest with the 2-cap currently. Crimson's probably going to get pushed out. May will get dropped here, but does get some cover eventually and will survive. Here comes the push from Obey Alliance. Something a little bit different. It looks like a home hill push if they can get it. But if you use Finest, they just back up and Lancer. Back up and Lancer. Nothing too crazy. They now have their boom shot as well. They have control of up top ridge, so when that drop shot comes back up, which it will do relatively shortly, they're in a good spot to do something with it. Crimson's comes in, takes down Demonic. This will now allow them to try and push back up towards E very, very quickly, but that shot grenade was well placed by Obey. But here comes the push from EU's Finest, but they still need to win the gunfights. Warrior Guns is can eventually find Hydro, and they may actually have to back off here, or do they just continue to get aggressive? 4 members of Obey Alliance here, and they will capture E back.
They've got the numbers. You've got to ask the question, where are they losing on the map, though? Because they had a member down, right? They had a member killed by that boom shot on Crimson's. He's back up on the map now, and it looks like Obey, they've done enough here just to get hold of the E-hill. Cog, they will win in 59 seconds, so Swarm, they need a break. They're going to try and break this E-hill. The shot grenade is there. If they can get the shot grenade in quick, they might be able to get a couple of kills. It looks like it's going to be on Crimson's. Crimson's backs out. Just get the down on Phelpsy. Can they clean it up, though? That's the question. They've got the drop shot. This should be a clean. Drop shot not used to it. All that good a use, to be quite honest with you. They're just trying to delay some time here.
I don't think it matters so much from Obey Alliance right now. They're finding the kills. They're finding what they need to. They are keeping EU's finest away.
Just one shot left.
Drop shot's still available. That should find Hydro and will do. And just shutting down the pressure where they need to. Cog Team now wins in 25 seconds.
Gotta check
Set
out
up
what's going on
nicely
the tracks.
here. Demonic needs to win a couple of gunfights here. He's just going to back on down.
Phelps
The
just picked up that boom as well.
Boom shot available for Phelpsy. This is what's going to make or break it. Let's go on board with Phelpsy, see where he is. Where does Phelpsy move to? It's got to be up top. His teammates in front of him. Here comes the boom. Blind through the smoke and finds 2. That might just be it for EU's finest. They will now win in 6. It's a blind smoke boom shot that will eventually win this round for EU's finest. It's a ballsy play and they come out on top 6-5 now. They're 1 round away.
1 round away it is. I can't. That was a fantastic boom shot. He saw where the shots were coming through the smoke. That's how he lined up that shot. He didn't have a mark. He didn't have visuals, but he saw the pellets coming through the smoke and used it with his map knowledge. Take out 2 members of Obey right there, and well, you got to respect the boom shot. We said it before, right? You have to respect that boom shot. And honestly, the best thing they could have done there was push towards it. If they back off, they're either gonna they're gonna let that ring go anyway, which is an issue. They needed to buy as much time as possible, and to buy that time, they had to go in. They had to push the boom shot. They didn't. EU's finest clutched up once again, and now they're match point, series point. Here we go. Let's have a look what's going on. Shot grenades back up for EU's finest this time around. Boom shot off the map for Obey. So this is huge power play for EU's finest.
EU's finest now in a good spot, but here come those grenades over the top. Phelpsy now going to have to back on down, and you feel as if that's probably going to be actually drop shot this time over towards Hydro, and he slipped the net. He's killed Warrior Guns. They're now in a really good spot here. EU's finest. Obey Alliance since the break just seemed to be faltering. They were hitting everything right to find themselves in a good position against EU's finest, but right now they have been pinned back. Crimson's just trying to stay alive. Breaker putting shots down from mid-map, but has to be careful as he will have some pressure over towards track side from EU's finest. Crimson is going to capture E with the help of his teammates, and he's going to get it out. Great work from EU's finest. They have the power weapons, they have control, and Breaker has just been run over by a train. Crimson's going to have to back on down because of that flash, but they've got the power weapons to try and get this one back. Not good use of it there so far, though, as an explosion comes through the right-hand side.
Still got the boom shot, though.
Boom shot here for Crimson's, finds TJ. EU's finest just doing exactly what they need to do. It's a tug of war going on up top of Eddie here, but you're putting your hands out there. Why is Saki even bothered at that
Exactly.
point?
That's the question you got to ask, right? You have to start to try and draw the map out right now. You've got to get across that other side, get their home hill, stop them gaining this point advantage, and running at 3 members ain't gonna do that. They're gonna be much more careful. Second boom shot up now for Hydro. Shot grenade as well. This is gonna be a hard push for Obey. They've got to get there first, basically. They've got to get this decap. The shot is gonna go down. Boom shot comes in. The boom shot does get taken down. Actually, Hydro is gonna fall, but he's gonna get put into a DBNO state. Crimson's now getting shot away with this pistol. Breaker's doing a lot of damage, but Breaker, he's getting it back as well. He falls to about 30% health. Hydro gonna clean that up.
No capture quite yet for Obey Alliance. They're just trying to push that one up right now. It's still EU's finest with the win condition. Still quite a while to go for it, though, but the kills starting to come through for EU's finest once again. Can they clean up shop? Demonic does actually find 2, albeit just 1 being it down. Phelpsy's going to find 1 at Demonic as well. Here comes the flash. Here comes the push from TJ. He also has Warrior Guns with him, who's going to find Jack Vex, and they will eventually get a hold of E. And this should be win condition over towards the COG team. 60 seconds to go. Obey Alliance eventually break that E hill. Warrior Guns will get the drop shot as well and will get out. Massive play out of Obey Alliance. That flash was so crucial.
It was crucial. It was on point. They managed to get those 2 kills out. They've taken the power weapon out, and now they have that advantage. The problem is, we see EU's finest. They're making headway around the tracks. They have, well, they're going to have a boom shot as well. Let's have a look. Just 2 seconds on that spawn. You see the member waiting for it. So now, boom shot versus drop shot for the round. This is pretty much what it comes down to.
Can Obey Alliance do what they have not been able to do? Can they use this drop shot effectively?
It's in Warrior Guns' hand. He's got to find that answer right now. He's aiming up the first shot. Does put one out. Misses the first shot. Hydron's going to get taken to quite low down, but doesn't get killed in the end. Second shot does come out. 11 seconds on the clock. 10 seconds on the clock. Now, let's see what EU's finest can do.
He is being decapped. These are massive gunfights for Obey to win. They're going to win them all. And we are going to a very final round. Crazed actually, he's managed to break it. Can he do anything here? Not quite, but surely. Here we go. All the way now to round number 13.
And you've got to think, if you're Obey, this should have been closed and out by now. They had that round. They let it slip from their hands, and now they're up at around 13 against EU's finest. And this is where champions are made. They've got to go through. They've got to play their best Gears of War that they've played all night, because this is where EU's finest usually shine.
It's going to be a COD loadout coming in. It looks like it. Come on, do me a favour. I know, God, yeah, wrong game.
It is.
Right. Let's see what else is going to be changed around here. I honestly, I think
Boomshot's back on the field.
Boomshot is now back for Obey Alliance.
Shock's down to 60 seconds.
It's pretty much even across the board. So what do you do if you're
Do you go snipe? Yep, I was.
All right.
I was thinking the only thing you can do if you're losing that drop shot, take a snap to the other end. You've got a full sightline all the way down. If you can get to that before the drop shot can get picked up, then maybe you have a chance of taking that headshot. But let's see what happens.
Where do you choose to invest?
Overhead, Obey. They look to have invested on this. That's not invested on this bridge.
Drop shot is now available. Can they use it to good effect this time round? TJ's been dropped once again, so he's already been dropped twice with that boom shot in hand. Crazed now does have that long shot as well. Breaker's going to find a kill onto Crazed. Is going to go down though after finding the one with the boom shot. Saki just trying to get aggressive here. He's going to get taken down. EU's finest. They may not have E, but they found the kills. They have map control, and they will make a push over towards the mid-map.
Is that push coming up?
Obey
First drop
concede.
shot used didn't connect there.
Obey just about concede there. Warrior Gun sends it in. Is going to find Hydron, but what else is there? He needed more than one kill there, though, really.
There was a very, very weak Phelpsy, but they just didn't manage to get out there in time and get the kill. That said, though, the flash grenades come in on EU's finest. They're respecting this push from Obey, and you have to at this point. They've been matching you all the way. The flash just come back, though, and Demonic, he's going to get taken down. That's the difference. Saki managed to get it down. Craze gets the kill on Demonic.
Should be a break. Well use of the smokes here from EU's finest. They will get a hold of it. But Breaker, it's a phenomenal shot grenade that's going to come in. They should be able to clean this up as well. They have lost the point, but it might be enough for Obey Alliance to get it back. A war of attrition going on here up top. Breaker's going to take down Jack as well.
Technical mistake there from Jack as well. He put himself over the top of the cover, and that just opened up that kill there for Obey. This is great play by Obey. Crimson's, though, he has the snipe. This is where he can make his mark. If he managed to get one headshot, that could open up the entire map. So let's keep an eye on what he's doing with it. There's the aim. You see him aiming. He's just waiting for that player to pop his head up.
More shocks going in up top over towards Z, but it is going to come down to Crim to see if he can do anything. TJ finds the kill onto Hydron. Phelpsy now trades that away and takes down Saki. What can Crimsons do here? He really hasn't had a good map. He's going to be pushed by Demonic. It's a huge kill can go through, and it's going to be Demonic. Can he come in with a flank? Finds a second as well. Can he find the third to maybe wrap it up for Obey? He does go down, but is the damage already done? Phelpsy will be picked back up, but the push is shut down momentarily. Here comes the smoke. If you're EU's finest, you have to go. There isn't that much time. Hydron's going to find the kill at TJ. This is a two-man push. Hydron's just still going. He finds three as well. Could that be it? Warrior Guns is the last one alive momentarily. He will have to back on down. But Hydron runs straight through the middle of the smoke and finds 3 kills onto Obey Alliance. It's a swarm win condition currently.
It is indeed. That was the game-making play right there. We do see Warrior Guns. He did manage to get out with that drop shot, but couldn't connect with a shot. And Hydron, he just shut them down. He just shut them down on his own. Drop shot coming out.
Is going to find a kill. Crimson's is actually going to get a hold of the boom as well. Jack did find one on a TJ, and it's a phenomenal... It looked like a phenomenal shot grenade coming through from Hydro, and he's dropped them down. Everybody from Obey Alliance seeming to drop. Warrior Guns now last alive. He has to go massive. Hydron pushing like we just seen him push before through the smoke. Warrior Guns goes down. It will take a small miracle for Obey Alliance to come back into this one. TJ's actually managed to break on through. I don't think it'll be enough to do anything. In EU's finest, they come up clutch once again. 7-6, and it has to be through Hydron finding those 3 kills over towards stairs. The fantastic shot grenade comes through as well. Shut down that retake from Obey Alliance. 7-6 in the end to EU's finest, who will win the series 2-0.
What a fantastic way.
It's hard to break it down. There was so much going on. I wasn't even sure whose shot grenade it was. It got a team kill. It looked like, was it, or was it?
It was a team down. He threw it on his down teammate. So as they went to pick up that revive, it managed to get it down. The second player came in as well and ran into it, and well, that was it. You saw the end result, right? But what a fantastic way to end the game. Trading back and forth. So many drop shots. So many amazing plays. Bit of a shame the snipe didn't come into play too much, but honestly, after all that action, I don't think we could have coped with much more.
No.
Well, yeah, props to EU's Finest coming out with a very clutch victory there.
EU's Finest get it done in 2. Albeit after the first map, we expected a much similar Asylum, it has to be said.
Yeah.
But EU's Finest were pushed right to the brink in this one. Obey will be disappointed with that, though. They had a couple of chances to maybe do it. It was that just tug of war up top, and just the last one that meant something went over towards EU's Finest, and it has to be because of the Hydro and 3-piece. That was phenomenal from him.
It is exactly that, and they let it happen, right? Obey. They were they were so focused on the hill that they didn't pick up Hydra and just running through their ranks. And yeah, in the end, what a fantastic play to finish him out.
He just said, screw it, run straight through the smoke and just kills 3 of them. Phenomenal play out of Hydro. Keep an eye on the top 5 players because that one's initially making it in at number 1. Phenomenal players, unless something crazy can happen from our damage and rated R.
And also on the other side as well, we saw, was it Demonic coming around the back of EU's Finest in the same round and almost picking his own triple up as well?
It has to be said that it was a game of small differences all the way through.
If it
and it
up that last kill.
Exploded into the final round, though. Things just started to go a little bit crazy. But
fantastic.
Wow, we've got another game to go still. We actually do still have our damage against rated R.
We thought that was going to be the spicier one out of the 2.
Yeah, in the end, the second map between EU's Finest and Obey, fantastic. If you didn't miss any of it, go through and do catch that on the VOD. But we are going to go for a very, very short break, and we will be back with map number 2, game number 2, I should say, after that quick break. The end of game one each week just always seems to happen like that, doesn't it? It was last week we had Rated R going up against OB. It was 7-6, absolute crazy end. And once again, OB Alliance involved, but this time on the wrong end of the stick. EU's finest get the better of them this time round. Thanks to an insane high drone push through smoke. We were just having a bit of a Twitter conversation with the players there, and Breaker's just like, we had 3 down, I had shock, we had drop. We were sitting back, big chilling. He runs through the smoke. Didn't catch him with any Lancer fire because Breaker says he comes in with the melee as well. And he hasn't went down, and he finds 3 kills. It's just one of them that you're not likely to see much other stuff like that again.
It's going to sting.
That's really going to sting. If any way to lose, that's probably one of the worst ways to do it if you are OB Alliance. A tough one for them to take, but I'm sure they will bounce back. However, we'll put that game in the back of our minds because we do indeed have a Rated R up against our damage. Far too many R's in these team names, by the way, when they're going up against each other. Really going to get confusing. If I make the wrong call, then I do apologise straight away. But let's go into the picks and bans because I know that we do already have them available as we are starting into this game. So Exhibit is gone. Icebound is gone. Asylum picked by R Damage. District is in from Rated R. So the first time we'll see District, if I'm correct. Yeah. Vasgar and Training Ground's gone. So we will see Bunker third if we indeed get there. First thoughts? I know we haven't seen District yet, so it's hard to really predict anything on that.
It's one of the maps that has been banned out in every series so far. So great to see District. It's the only map we've not seen so far. So it's going to be great to see that played by 2 fantastic teams. Let's go through them. Exhibit, no surprise there.
Our damage looked pretty good against OB, not against EU's finest.
No, but I think they looked better against EU's finest on Exhibit than they did on Asylum.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's difficult, isn't it? Maybe not. Maybe about the same. But either way, Exhibit, Asylum are the only 2 maps that R Damage have played. Yeah. So banning one of those out kind of makes sense, I guess. On the other side, Rated R, they look fantastic on Icebound the times they played it. So fair enough, get rid of that. And I think no brainer there by R Damage just to pick Asylum. They looked okay on it before. And Rated R, bringing in that District pick. So that's freshening things up a little bit here, and we'll see how that one plays out. We don't really have much data to go on. Vasgar, Rated R, they lost on it last week.
Yeah. And then we're going to get Bunker, which they did lose on last week as well. But they did actually pick that against OB Alliance. So
it was R Damage's choice this time around there, right between Training Grounds and Bunker. So
I don't think. I think if you look at this, I think if you're Rated R, you're pretty happy, I want to say. Yeah, you would have
probably liked Icebound to sneak through.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, but I mean, if you're doing your homework, I'm not surprised to see that gone. And at the end there, Bunker, they did pick it last week, but they also lost it last week. So that's we'll see how they perform. I guess that's really a question for game 3 if we get there.
Yeah, and for our damage here, I think the story has to be a bounce back because we seen them week 1 against OB Alliance. They came through as the team that qualified via the ladder. So the 4th team to qualify, and they looked really good against OB Alliance.
Yep,
they looked really, really good against EU's finest last week. It was so different. They really did not look good at all. Similar scoreline to what we just seen against OB. I think it was 7-4 in the second map, but either way, relatively close. But let's get into this one. It is going to be R Damage going up against Rated R. R Damage playing this map twice already and winning it once. Of course, the other time they did play it was against the EU's finest, so you can forgive them for that second loss. But Rated R now going into Asylum for the first time in the EU Pro League. Let's see what they can get done here. It's going to be an interesting one, I think. I think this is either going to be a super close R Damage win or Rated R are going to walk through them and win 2-0.
I'm going to assume Rated R are not going to just roll over here, and if they do not do that, I kind of think we might see another 2-0 for Rated R, to be honest with you. They've come through and they've beat R Damage a few times in the qualifiers to make it to that second place qualification slot, and well, they look good doing it, to be honest with you.
They may just have the matchup here against R Damage. And the way that it's going to start is actually in R Damage's favour. Most of the kills going over towards B. And if this first initial gunfight is anything to go by, then maybe we've got a cracker on our hands. Dragons is going to find 2. Got to give him some more. Not quite. He will go down. He does well to find that. But eventually, it is R Damage who walk away with B. But they have lost their home hill, A and C, belonging to Rated R.
Yeah, I mean that was fantastic. A double kill already, almost a triple. If there hadn't been that member from R Damage so close, it could have been a quad as well. But honestly, fantastic play by Dragons just to keep his team. That could have been devastating, that opening round. And because of that play, it's not bad actually. And great play by Rated R to come over and get that home hill as well in the midst of all that. So in the end of things, Rated R are up. R Damage have the hills. Things back to pretty much even.
Back to where it was looking like it was going to be after those first initial gunfights. Lunda's now going to have to back off as Reader gets aggressive. I tell you what, most of these gunfights, it seems as if Damage are really wanting to play a Rated R at their own game here.
Yeah, they are.
Getting very, very aggressive and very much in their face. If you're Leonard, you back on down and just stay alive for your team here. You have managed to, as I said, get a hold of B, but they are actually going to lose both here if they're not very, very careful. Zorkos is going to take down Dov. And Leonard now not in the best of spots to try and win this gunfight. Reader going to back on down and does find the kill on the Leonard. Good stuff from him. Reader was well and truly at the bottom of the eliminations leaderboard after the first 2 weeks. And we did actually see quite a lot from him in week number 1, a couple of clutch plays. So can he continue to do this time round?
Let's have a look, I guess. Let's have a look at the scoreboard very quickly. We are seeing a great contribution there by Dragons in this opening round. 5 kills already, so starting off well, but does get taken down here by Reader, and looks like he's going to get picked up and reply. Jump on board with him and see what we can do. Sergio here trying to find a couple of kills, bouncing left and right.
So well to stay alive.
He's forced his opposition to kill their own teammate in that fight. They do clean up in the end. Zorkos coming in with a nice little kill, and obviously Dragons falling there as well. Strikers, but yeah, I mean, that's the potential that Rated R have, right? They have that raw skill, and they can make you miss shots. They can make you kill your own teammate in some situations, and they really do put the pressure on you. But our Damage, they're matching that pressure right now, and this is old school our Damage. They're firing for each other very, very well. Just holding out, strangling out, and seeing here, a couple of kills onto Sergio. Dov's gonna fall, and now Zorkos looking for his 3rd kill on Toast as they really are just killing things out. But again, Dragons on his own. See if he can pick up another kill. Let's jump on board with him this time. He does fall. Goes to the commentator, I guess, as that round looks to be going over to the not the COG team, the Swarm team. Our Damage opening up.
Our Damage getting things done, and if that round is anything to say about the rest of these rounds, hopefully it continues in that vein. It was none of this sit 2 home hills and just strangle them out and play the Lancer. It was very much a, right, let's get fast and furious here. Let's get down and dirty. And indeed, they did try. They did try, Rated R, to get back into that round, but Our Damage will be the ones to take it. Nothing crazy going to come in initially here anyway. It will just indeed probably be flashbangs being placed down. It will be the case. And imagine to see them upgraded to shocks later on after some of the play that we've seen last time round. Will we see any mid drops? I'm curious, but
it'll be interesting to see for sure. See if all teams are kind of evolving their strategy a little bit, but whether we will or not, I'm not too sure. I think these teams will be quite happy to fight this out on even terms.
Dov is going to get killed on get a drop onto Physics, and a couple of drops a piece here from both 2 teams. It's looking like it is going to be Our Damage just about with the advantage, and they will back on down. They don't have a hold of B yet, but they may well be able to get some map control here. It's actually a C push coming in from Our Damage by the looks of things. They're capturing B as well. They found the kills across the board. This could be a domination coming through. It will be a domination coming through unless Toast can get there. He just about does in time and will find the kill as well. So just about for Rated R, you survive this one. And especially, actually, you have to be careful here for your Our Damage not to overextend in that situation, but I think it's so far back that they should just be fine.
Yeah, they're fighting here on the Rated R home hill, and they've got that fantastic setup through Pavilion, which is just going to prevent anyone coming through this middle. As you say that, Dragons gets taken out, didn't check his corners, and, well, Reader's there to make him pay. Gonna look for his second in the same situation as well. 2 more members of Rated R pushing down to Pavilion now. It looks like they've realized their mistake. They're going to back out a little bit. The rotation does come round, and Strikers is going to fall on tracks. It is up to Toast maybe to try and take him out. Does get the re-down. Reader trying to make this play again. Toast takes out 1. He's going to get taken out himself by Strikers, who gets traded out by Dov. Dov trying to get another one. Revive comes in. Is it going to be a 3rd? I'm not too sure. Dragons has taken out his teammate, but does get the kill on Physics as well. And, well, this is just Dragons. He's killing everything. Doesn't matter if his teammate is not taking any prisoners. Sadly, that's including his own teammates here.
Well, Dragons not able to quite get it done. The domination being threatened by Our Damage. It may well come through here unless Leonard can make the push over towards B. And it just comes down to winning those trades and using the advantages. Our Damage 2-0 up now against Rated R. Looking good in their playing that Fast and Furious game. They're playing that shotgun battle constantly. And they're beating Rated R to it at the moment.
I want to draw attention to the scoreboard very quickly and point out the difference here is you
Not
can see
one elimination for Leonard yet.
exactly. Leonard, he's on 0. Sergio's on 1. Toast is on 2. And honestly, they're not shooting for each other. They're trying to find kills themselves. Even the kills that Dragon has on his name, they've all been solo kills, right? They've been him against the world, just trying to fight for those kills. And he has got some nice doubles, some nice triples, but, well, it's not enough. The whole of the team has to be contributing, and we can see that from our damage. We can't see it from Rated R just yet. Long time to go yet, though.
Long time indeed. Very, very much agreed. As Dov finds the first drop on the physics, and I imagine he will probably get picked up down in the middle, as said. Zorkos is going to drop Sergio as well. Here comes the push from Dov. Let the bodies hit the floor in the middle. Good lord, everybody dropping. And it is actually in the favor of Rated. Oh, but he is going to get caught by Reader. That's an important kill by him. He may actually not stop anything over towards B, of course, but it could have been a lot worse. Reader finding another nice play by our damage. This could be an overextension by Rated R as our damage make use of their position here. Find a couple of kills up top, over towards the bridge, and they will just push that home hill very, very simply. Toast now in a really bad spot. Fire coming in from all different angles. He gets wiped out by a train. This could be a domination if Reader and Co can find this final kill. Dov will just about save Rated R's blushes, though, and they will have to back on down, but really good work by our damage there.
It was pretty much all Reader just understanding the aggression that Rated R were pushing into that push. We saw Rated R, they got a couple of kills down. They had complete advantage in that middle. There was a fight going on up top that they could have wrapped around and maybe picked up another kill on as well. But in the end, Reader just understands that that push is going to come through. Holds the corner, gets the first kill. Decides that, okay, I could go up and I could fight that 2v1 with my teammate. Instead, he backs back down, he holds the second corner, and again, another member of Rated R just runs straight into it, and it's easy pickings for Reader. He's been around this game long enough to understand these kind of plays and understand these kind of players. And right there, that's why he's always been at the top of the game. He's just so good at reading the game.
Very much reading it well so far. Our damage in a good position to go 3-0 up here. And it's really not the start that I expected. Honestly, I mean, this is looking like a potential domination, although Sergio will shut that down one very, very quickly. And this may swing back towards Rated R as a B cap is looking likely. Sergio coming to help with some Lancer fire here. But it's been a surprising start, in all honesty. It has mostly been our damage. Sergio trying to get things done here, though. Will drop physics twice and will find the kill on the strikers as well. Nicely done by Sergio. And he will make that push over towards C. Did he see that other player
I think he
coming up from our damage on that side? Doesn't have time to quite get the decap. Nice movement in and around the point, but there will be support there now. And Sergio haphazardly makes the push through and will just sacrifice his life for very, very little. We can see another player from Rated R getting aggressive in a 1v3. He's going to have to back on down. And here comes the home hill push coming out of our damage this time, bro.
Yeah, it's so quick to rotate between these two hills that honestly, if you give up 2 kills on your own home, you may on their home, sorry, you may as well give up your own home as well. I mean, you can see it right now. Dov really stood no chance. He was in a 3v1 situation, and his teammates pushing in on their own. They cost him his life. Leonard, he's done well to get over here. He's managed to get that decap, and he is drawing attention. Reader, though, going to try and take that kill. Leonard does pick up 1, and that's a great kill, extending the round for his team. You can see the points are in the favor of Swarm. Swarm are going to win in 30 seconds, but if Leonard can get this kill, if they can get round to this B hill, they may have done enough just to win this round right at the very end. Shot grenade's going to come out. Leonard's just got to stop this cap.
Needs to stop the cap, but Zorkos has done very, very well to stay alive in this situation, trying to pick him up, and Toast is eventually going to trade that one out. Reader is here, though, to try and shut things down. The Cog domination is denied, but they will win in 30, so this is Rated R's to lose. Here comes the push. Dragon's going to find 1. Strikers will find the second. Have they got enough time on the board to win it with 1?
They don't have enough time to win it with 1, but they are going to get this decap. If they get the decap, it doesn't matter. They are going to get a decap on both hills, though. That is what matters. And Leonard, even if he wins this fight now, he's not done enough. His team haven't done enough just to hold our damage off. And our damage, right at the last moment, going to clutch that up. 3-0 up now. And that was a fantastic comeback from what looked to be a completely over round there. Rated R, they looked like they'd done everything. In the end, just wasn't quite enough, but much, much better. Much better.
Knocking the wind out of the sails of Rated R, who are threatening a comeback there themselves in this game. Our damage have really been uncontested here so far. Look at the eliminations, very much in the favour of our damage here. And that's what you feel like you need to do against Rated R. You just need to go and slay against them, and they are getting the job done here. 3-0 now. Drop shots placed either side of things. Nothing too crazy just yet. Not quite those middle drops that were coming in from EU's finest and Obey Alliance in that last game.
Not quite.
We might see that yet, though.
We might. There's obviously the question of does the boom shot go down in that middle? Do we play for something different? Maybe like the sniper? We'll see. We've got a long time to go yet, but my theory still stands that we're going to see a very even game here. We're going to see the same placements from both sides.
Kills initially coming in from Rated R, probably for the first time here. It's mostly been R damage winning these initial. Striker's trying to get something done. He's done so well to actually stay alive as long as he has. How has he not found a kill? Finding his shotgun in places where you would expect them to at least be finding something. Striker's now finding himself all alone on train tracks. The only company he does indeed have is Sergio, who has been dropped. He should find this kill, but okay, he didn't find too many kills himself off the initial few fights, but he stayed alive and he's helped his team get a hold of B here.
And we've talked about it before in previous games with our damage. Strikers, he is that top level competitor. He's got a technical skill set that can match any at the top of the game. Anyone over in the North American Pro Circuit, Latin American Pro Circuit, here in Europe, or elsewhere in the globe as well. He is one of the top players, and it is little points in the game like that that really shine his ability. That's another great kill by Leonard, but it really does show his ability off, and well, just his movement alone basically turned that round around for our damage. Gave his team time to return off spawn.
It's a bad spot now though, as he's gonna get taken out by Toast. Combination of him and Leonard now just holding this one down. Shot's going to come out there, but Leonard now is going to get shot from up top. Physics is going to be able to clean this one up as well. So good work from our damage. They're still in this one, but they have to be careful not to be dominated here. They have to be so careful. The kills are going to come in our damage's favor, and they will just about hold on. So these next few gunfights are important for Rated R now. They're going to get pushed out of control here if they can't lock down these sites. Toast is going to have to back on down. He's taking a chunk of Lancer fire as well, but here come the rest of Rated R. But what was nearly a win condition for Rated R to get on the board has turned into a control for our damage.
Rated R really should be moving a little bit quicker away from the train tracks now. You see the train come in. They know they have two members of our damage trapped on those tracks, and they could have pincered up top while that was happening. While I say that, though, it looks like they've made this push on B just after the trains have gone. Leonard picks up one, picks up two. Reader falls. And honestly, this is good play by the COG team. They've got 30 seconds on that clock. They're about to lock in another ring right about now. They should be able to take this round if they can just keep getting these kills. The drop shots are back up, and this is the test now: is can they land these shots?
It's going to come down to who does. Although if you're our damage, you're the ones that need to get it done quicker here. And then also not a lot of activity over towards B. So is it a home hill push coming out of our damage? It's looking that way. C is now being decapped, but if you are Rated R, one will be enough, yeah, you feel? Physics is going to get taken down.
Should be enough. I mean, the train came in right the perfect moment, really, for Rated R, as it just blocks off any push, really, from our damage. And, well, 3-1. Our damage looking good to start with, but Rated R, a little bit of life coming back into this in the fourth round, and hopefully we'll see a little bit more of that as things start to maybe even up towards the half. Kills starting to even up a little bit after that last round.
Yeah, Rated R maybe just a little bit slow off the start. I've definitely found their form a little bit more in that past round or two. Our damage, as said, still with the lead though of 3-1. Drop shot placed. Once again, that is just halving in time, so we'll respawn now in 75 seconds instead of 150, and that is mirrored on the other side of things by our damage. 3-1 now, as said. Respawns now 12 seconds. Anybody playing with fire with their respawns? Zorkos 1 out of 5. Sergio 1 out of 5. Toast has only got 1 as well.
And Dove and Dragons.
Everyone's still a couple of rounds to go here as well. They have to be careful.
They do indeed. A couple of kills here and there could really cost it for their team. So keep an eye on those players with the low lives. It's only really Leonard that's.
I was thinking to myself that there's been a lot of engagements here.
That they have.
And really, look at the side of Rated R. They need to have a clean round here, in all honesty, and that's why we're maybe seeing things slow down from their end.
Yeah, on the opposite side, our damage, pretty much one more life per person to play with, minus Zorkos.
That's a drop shot kill.
Very, very close. Toasty recognized it. Is going to get pushed, though, so he's going to have to give up that bridge control.
And a much slower round coming out of these two teams here. Recognizing the risk, if you are Rated R, of going into these 50-50 gunfights. And choosing just to play around your drop shot. That should find a kill at the strikers. It will do. Can't quite get out in time. So B should now go over towards Rated R. Reader in the middle, though, is trying to get something done and will get away. But he has just delayed that push for just a little bit. B will eventually be captured. by Rated R, who are now in the driving seat in this round. It's good shots on the physics once again by Dragons, who really has probably been the most electric player here for Rated R. The movement's been fantastic. It's a good flash grenade to maybe shove off the push of Strikers. And he's such a good player to watch here, Dragons. Fantastic work by him and Leonard now to get a hold of C. This may well be a Rated R round, although the extension has come through over towards it. So they will just about slow this one down through Zokos, who will go down himself, but Cog with the win condition here.
That they do. Having a look at what Dragons is still trying to do on his screen. He's fighting two members here. Is able to get one, sorry, as he picks up that knife. I thought he was going to get knifed down, but in the end doesn't. Looking for his second as he flicks off that shot. Just misses the majority of the pellets there, which gave Strikers a window, but fantastic play once again by Dragons. One of those players that, you know, we watched all the way through Gears of War 4 as he came up on that Spanish roster with Regal, and he really gave it to a lot of the top European teams and really pushed that team up into the top 3. And now again on Gears 5 fighting in this Pro League, and is, well, it's a fantastic team as well, Rated R. It's not the same team by any means, it's a completely different team, but they found that top spot again, and Dragons, he's a big part of it.
Sergio's not able to find anything with the drop shot and will go down without finding much himself. Actually, and our damage turn it down on at the end of the round here. They're capturing B as well, and that's why they sent so many people over here. They've got one to decap the home hill of Rated R. And the kills are starting to flow in our damage's favour. They haven't quite captured B, but Rated R might have just done enough to defend this one here. Trying to get his teammate up, and he's going to go down on the way of trying to finish. I think it was Relay he was trying to finish. Now it's Sergio to try and defend A all on his own. We can see Rated R, they're not respawning back up because they can't. Sergio has to go massive. This should be around for our damage. It will be around for our damage. Just not enough lives on the board. And if you're Rated R, you've just maybe expensed far too many of them. That's the problem. They've pushed far too aggressive. They've lost the gunfights, and that's why they find themselves in that position in round number 5.
That's it. You got to be more careful, especially when your opposition has that advantage in terms of lives.
The thing is, for Rated R, though, they had the advantage in the game, and then just suddenly lose a couple of gunfights, and suddenly you're in a bad spot.
They did lose it. I mean, if you look at the respawns in this round, Rated R now actually in an advantageous position, but quite honestly, 4-2, it doesn't really matter at this point. You're still going into the half down. We'll see what happens in terms of the placements.
I'd expect Leonard being the only one to get aggressive here. I think the rest of it, Rated R, will probably try to play around. What he's going to do is...
You'd assume, right?
Yeah, I mean, I said the round, the lives will reset at the end of this round. Thank you for the in-game prompt either way. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting round. I expect another slow one. It's going to come down to picks, potentially with the drop shot. Here comes the flashes out from Leonard, who actually going to put the smokes out, I should say. And now they're going to make this push over towards B, and he's the one getting aggressive, as I said. He's the one with those lives. He's the expendable soldier, if you like, as he is going to go down. Rita is going to find him, and I think if you're Rated R, you're happy that it's only him going down, but Dragons is going to go down. He's out of this round. We said it might be a slow burner. I don't think it will be, as everybody just seems to be dropping. And as more players for Rated R drop, the easier this gets for our damage. They do have one more, of course, but they're putting themselves in a position where they do not have much to play with here.
That's it. It's all about that resource, right? And if they do lose it once again, then yes, then it becomes super easy to R-damage. And whilst you do have that respawn on 1 life, but when you get to 0, your mentality changes, right? You've got to be much more careful. You've got to really be taking stock of exactly what's happening around you, what exactly you are doing, and one little mistake could be the end of your round.
And the thing is here for them as well, if you are Rated R, you're in the position where you have to make the push here. Our damage don't have to do anything. They just have to sit back, hold A, hold B. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, you're 5-1 up.
That's it. That's it. And the drop shot is going to make that ever so easier as well. They're going to put it in Zorkos' hand. It makes sense, right? He's on 0 respawn, so give him the longest range weapon so he doesn't have to be right up there in those fights. I think that's a good idea. Reader, again, he's down to 0, so is Cougars, so this could come down to it. Obviously, we have to see Rated R make that push, though, so let's have a look at what they're doing. Let's jump on board with Toast. He's the furthest up so far. Good Lancer there. Does manage to get down. Drop shot going to come out. Does take out Toast.
Oh, is he going to pay for it, though? It's the bait as Dragons finds 2. They put him down with the Lancer Fire and just wait for the push to come through on the revive. That's 2 members gone out of this game now for our damage. Sergio is out on the other side of things, and Leonard is about to respawn back up. Toast is going to find physics as well. So Physics does actually have a respawn. Dov's going to find Cougars, though. He doesn't. This should be a round over towards Rated R.
Ooh, the train almost.
That was that would have been Dov out of the game as well.
Yeah, that's it.
He is going to move over to help his teammate up. They will capture B. And this is momentarily a 2v4. Not out of the question if you're Physics and Strikers here, but very, very hard.
It is. I mean,
if they can find a kill on
that's it, right? Anyone really.
Yeah.
They've all got 0 lives. This basically is a game of execution at this point. They've got to find the kills. We've seen players clutch it up in these situations before.
I think if you're Rated R, you just have to maybe play it together to a point, but you have to be careful of the drop shot.
This is why you got to be extremely careful here. One pick by this drop shot could open up the entire map.
Physics is going to have to do something, but Dov is going to take down Strikers now. Physics, technically, in a 1v4. Is he going to find anything on the Dragons here? Yes, he is. There's one, so 1v3 now. The problem is here is that there's a drop shot on the other side of things as well, and Toast will...
There's the drop shot.
Just end the hopes and dreams of our damage in that round. 4-2 now.
I thought we were going to see our first Pro League clutch there. Like
he'd have done well.
End of round clutch. Yeah, he would have done.
I just don't think he would have had the time either, though. Even if he captures B in that situation,
yeah,
I just don't think he has the time.
You're running out of time of it. Maybe if he'd have connected with the drop shot earlier on, he might be able to get one more kill. But even still, to just kill all 4 members, definitely not.
There was hope for a second. But here we go into the half, and the points now will reset. We will move over towards the bridge side, where we've seen so much entertaining Gears of War in the last map that we did indeed see. Between EU's finest and OB Alliance. That's a good drop shot over towards the side. Not going to quite connect from Dragons, though. Look, destined for a kill or 2.
Yeah, good damage points. You saw the little crosshair pop up there, Rita. You got taken pretty low, as did Cougars, but just not close enough to anyone, really. Now we see Zorkos. He's fighting in the smoke. Strikers fires across that drop shot, gets a kill on Sergio, and now the push comes in from Rated R. They're just trying to catch Zorkos off guard, but Zorkos doing very, very well here, just holding his ground, holding the entranceway, and takes the meat shield as well as his prize.
Toast is last alive for Rated R momentarily, and we'll be just trying to stay alive around his spawn. Not going to happen, though. Sergio is going to find 2, though. Really nice work from him, and that was essential. It was looking like D was going to get captured by R damage. He stays alive, and he will get taken back up and find Zorkos as well. Nice stuff from Sergio. And he's the one for me. Whenever I watch him, he seems to play fantastic Gears of War. How quick he is, the movement. He's just constantly cracked out of his mind flying around the map. Love to see it from him. Dov's going to find a kill up top as well, so they should be able to keep a hold of E. They will do. The points deficit belongs to our damage. But Rated R should be able to catch back up fairly quickly.
Should be able to. They should be able to get a kill on Cougars as well, as he's trapped in no man's land right in the middle of the pavilion. Sergi now, another 1v1 against Strikers. Let's see how he can play this one. He's behind him. Sergio just get flipped on those Strikers. Basically a straight 180. Looks like he's playing with a mouse. He just turns around instantly.
Is that Toby Campbell?
Someone get a test out there. Let's find out. No, I'm sure it's not Toby. Toast just get 1. Dov gets another. A beautiful double kill from Zorkos with this drop shot. Looking for his 3rd as well. He's pushing up on Dragons. Decides that the ring is going to be his prize, though. A return drop shot isn't quite on point. Cougars gets taken down for it, though. Dragon's going to look for his 2nd. Does get the kill on Zorkos. And now, Cog domination. Not Cog domination anymore, sorry. Cog victory in 50 seconds.
Still plenty of time. Still plenty of time for our damage to get back into this round. There's been a lot of slaying going on once again, though, from both teams this time round. So a couple of players actually read it down to 2 respawns off the back of 1 round, so not having the best time of things.
Drop shots up in 10 seconds.
Here comes the push over towards E if you are our damage. Striker's going to get the kill on the Dove, and these kills just about being traded in our damage's favor, so they will probably get the win condition off this, I would say, over towards E. It should just be enough, and it will be. It's very, very close. It's going to come down to 1 hill.
It's about 10 seconds in it. 1 decap could flip this over, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. It looks like Swarm are just going to go all the way and attempt for this domination. Reader using that new little technical skill you got in Gears 5, bouncing backwards there just to dodge a shot. Great shot on Dov as well. Should be able to pick up this kill. That's a misplay by Toast, and he's going to get taken out. They're going to get taken out. Rated R going to get taken out, and this D hill definitely going to get away with R damage. E hill, however, is going to get taken out. It's not really going to make much difference.
I mean, I'm not too sure why he's killed Reader there, but either way, Physics is going to send him to the respawn queue. 5-2 now.
We'll have to check those revives after, because if he's on anything lower than 5 when he comes back in, then Physics has done him a disservice there.
Yeah, I mean that was one of those, wasn't it? It was like, yeah, I mean I know you're 5-2 up, but
Yeah.
imagine if it comes back to bite them. Either way,
That's a scratch of the head moment, isn't it? I mean, we'll see. We'll see what
bit
happens.
trigger happy. Either way, let's see what the weapon placements come through. Disable coming down on the drop shot. Fully expect it to be the exact same thing on the other side of things, and it will be as we now go into the next round. 5-2 damage though, looking good for them. This is potentially a quick one for our damage. And the thing is, with all these rounds as well, the rounds have been relatively quick. I don't feel like we've been on Asylum for more than 10 minutes at this point, and we're into round number 8. So
yeah, those last 3 rounds of the previous series felt longer than these 8. To be honest with you.
Physics going to find the first kill on Leonard though, so Rated R once again on the back foot. And our damage just seem to be playing them at their own game and beating them at their own game as Dragons kills another teammate. He's going to drop Physics, but that's just about it. As Rita does answer back with a kill of his own, so Sergio has to back on down. Another really, really good start by our damage.
Yeah, Rita there picking up the kill. Not afraid to push that 1v1. He knew he had a little bit of damage on Sergio. And now, with his team, he's going to push for this home hill. And once again, they're going to threaten for this domination. Rated R, they've got to fight this out. Dragons does manage to get it down. Dove as well. But our damage, they're still in the game. They've still managed to get those revives. Cougars picks up a kill. Rita picks up a second. And this looks like our damage may be locking in another round. The domination is denied for just a second as Dove gets a touch in the ring, but doesn't matter in the end. Our damage comes through. 6-2 now. They're on map point, and they've looked fantastic throughout this first map in Asylum.
They have. The majority of their rounds have been fairly dominant as well. 6-2. This lane has come a little closer than it was, but it really is well and truly in the favour of our damage, though it was worse than this at one point during this game. But look at that, across the board as well, fairly even outside of Strikers and Reader, of course, about 10 ahead of their teammates, but across the board, not too many disparities. The other side of things, though, somebody who was so good for Rated R last week against albeit in a loss, Sergio, with only 22.
You got to look at his deaths at the same time as well.
Yeah.
He's rocking basically a 1.0 KDA there, obviously just ever so slightly over, but not what you expect from him. And he is getting shut down, to be honest with you. Incendiary's coming in on that bottom side of the map, mirrored once again. So again, we'll see this fight go on. Sergio, beautiful movement there. Gonna look for his second, I'm pretty sure. Doesn't manage to get that first shot. Just throwing out shots into the wild. Bouncing his way down. His teammate's going to go in there as well. But Dragons, he can't get the kill. And now, our damage, they're going to reply. The Incendiary is down. Cougars has managed to down Toast over on the other side of the map. So if Leonard can't do anything about this, this probably is going to be our damage's round. Let's have a look over at the other side of things. It is going to be over. Our damage are going to win. They're going to take this first map 7-2. And honestly, they look very strong doing it.
That was very, very quick. Nice stuff from our damage, 7-2. And they'll be very, very happy with that. Much better from them. And they're so topsy-turvy. Like last week when we seen them against EU's finest, we saw nothing. We didn't even see a spark from them. No. Maybe on exhibit towards the end of the map where they were threatening a comeback at best, but that was so much better. That was like the on damage that we've seen play up against OB in week number 1.
That's how they looked when they played Asylum in that first time round. They did play the map extremely well. They slayed out where they needed to. They were on the other team's home hill pretty much constantly, and well, yeah, I mean, you saw it again right there. Fantastic play by them, and throwing any predictions up in the air, that's for sure.
Yeah, God knows what happens in this one now. Honestly, I as I said at the beginning of this match, I thought it was going to be either a quick Rated R win, with a 2-0, like a convincing scoreline, like a 7-2, like that, or it was going to be a ground-out win from our damage. I just think that you think of our damage typically, and they will play that maybe a little bit slower than Rated R play, but they went to match fire with fire there, and they won.
Well. Yeah. And to be honest, maybe this is the new addition, right? Cougars is coming in. He's changed up the style of our damage a little bit. He's a little bit more of a slaying presence, I think, than the previous member. And honestly, he's able to match that Rated R squad in terms of skill, as are the rest of the R damage members. And in the end, they took it to them. And the games they played before were not with Cougars in that roster. So maybe this is a bit different. And our damage, they've been on the up for sure. Maybe a new look our damage, and exciting things to come for sure, especially if they play like that in this map.
Well, we'll see map number 2 very, very shortly. We will be going over towards a district. This is how the first map did indeed unfold. 72 to our damage on Asylum. Got down and dirty with the Nashers, very up close and personal, up against Rated R, which you would expect to maybe not be the game that you want to play against them, but they get away with it either way in convincing fashion. 7-2 as said. We will be moving on to District for the first time in the EU Pro League. Haven't seen this one yet. What are we expecting when we think of District? A lot of Lancer fire, a lot of cover up from the mid side of things, and it has a bit of everything though, doesn't it?
It has a bit of everything. It's quite heavy on those initials, to be honest with you. It kind of plays into Rated R's playstyle, you would have thought, but after that first match, actually maybe this is what our damage are looking for here, and well, District is definitely an exciting one. We saw it in that E-League Invitational at the start of Gears 5. We've seen it a few times in the run-up to them in the qualifiers, but yeah, first time in the Pro League. I don't think this could be a better match of teams as well to play this on. I'm super excited to see what happens there.
Yeah, we'll jump into it very, very shortly. What's the predictions then? After you see map number 1, you can't really side with anything else but our damage. It wasn't even like... Yeah, they outplayed them to the point of where, they out-rotated better, etc., but they just slayed them off the map completely more than anything.
They did. They got rid of them. And, well, you asked me for the prediction. I have to go with our damage.
100%.
Everything so far, all the games so far, whoever's won the first map has won the second map. It's hugely momentum-based Gears of War, and quite honestly, we've not seen anything different. We've seen some close game twos, but in the end, the team that won the first match has always won their second match. Rated R, prove me wrong. Go for that game 3. I don't mind. But yeah, you have to side with our damage, I guess, especially after such a dominant performance.
100%. We'll be loading into District very, very shortly, and it's interesting to see that Rated R all the way from week number 1 when they beat EU's finest. We had so much hope for them, didn't we?
Yes.
We seen that performance, and it wasn't just beating EU's finest. I mean, they give them a good old drubbing, to be honest with you, and on. You would have thought we'd see more from them, but last week, a tight game against Obey Alliance. It's going to be a tough one to take. And then going up against our damage, not a good start. Do you think it's maybe just a case of confidence after that loss last week?
I've been thinking this over as well, because I've been looking at this team, and they came into the qualification tournaments very, very fresh. They were a 2-week team. They didn't even play in the first qualification tournament. That's how new they were. And then they came in, and then they slayed everyone. And you look at it, and you go, wow, this is, this is their week 1 performance.
Yeah.
Where are they going up to after this? That was the question we asked.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was just honeymoon period and
it's a
actually
thing,
now they're kind of they're storming a little bit, right?
Yeah.
They're finding their footing, and maybe there's a little complication going on in that camp. We'll see. I don't think they've looked horrendous. That for me was the worst performance I've seen.
Yeah, 100%.
Maybe barring the first map against Obey, but. I honestly think that was probably the weaker.
Yeah, I think Obey played Bunker very, very well when they lost to them, so I'll give them that. But yeah, absolutely the worst performance we've seen from Rated R so far. But can they bounce back here against our damage on District? It's a map, as I said, we have not seen so far, so it's hard to predict which way this one will go. But if we are basing our predictions off map number 1, it was very, very difficult to say anything against our damage, who looked fantastic there on Asylum. Just waiting for this final player to load on in. Hopefully that does happen. We'll get this one started fairly quickly. But yeah, our damage. Surprising how well they've actually bounced back. I do believe we'll probably have to restart the lobby here, unfortunately. So you come back to our pretty little faces. And maybe, is he going to load in? Oh, waiting. Hey! There he is.
Making his way up.
Fashionably late.
Nothing new there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and another thing as well, actually, is the little bit of a rivalry between Dragons and Cougars that we've seen in the past.
Yep.
That's an interesting fight that we've seen a lot. That Lucent versus Regal era that we saw back in Gears 4, and this is not the same teams by any means, but having two of these top Spanish players fighting it out, and also on the other side, top French players as well. There's a lot of rivalries going on, and I'm sure a lot of words to be said between both teams.
Yes, very continental Europe going on here, isn't it? Let's be set.
It is.
Sergio now just trying to back on things up here over towards the seaside of things, but as said, it comes down to those big initials over towards B. But this Lancer fire from these two areas in blue and green, it's very hard to counteract, isn't it?
It is. They're pretty safe, to be honest with you. One of the easiest ways to actually get into those is from the opposite players, opposite team's spawn. So they are extremely safe places to get to. That jump up in the middle, it makes it hell to get up there. And they are placed strategically, so players have to jump up. They have to lock themselves in that animation to make these, these safe points basically contestable areas that you fight over and you really do have to secure.
It's going to come down to see if any of those flashes can be what helps these teams make this break over towards B. Zokas now just having to defend his home hill as our damage get very, very aggressive towards it. They're going to have to back on down here. Dov and Co will just about get out. Actually, he drops Zokas, so he rolls forward, but gets caught out by strikers, as will Toast. Sergio will drop them from afar, but it will not be enough. Surely C will go over towards our damage now. They're getting aggressive over towards the side of things as well, and this is where this round will just open up. B should now be free roam for our damage. This should be the domination coming through. I don't think if you're rated R, you want to even bother spawning in at this point. It should be done and dusted. It is our damage once again with the stronger start.
It was a strong start. They slayed out. There was a couple of questionable fights there from rated R. Maybe backing up would have been the better solution, especially when they were losing their home hill. They could maybe have made over to that B hill a little bit quicker and supported their teammates there. But at the end of things, as we said, it's early doors. It's only the first round. Our damage, they did open strong. They opened how they finished the last game, right? They slayed out. And I'm looking at rated R to maybe try and do something a little different here. We saw last time both teams mixing things up in the middle. This time the teams they completely mimicked each other. We called it out at the beginning of Asylum. That's probably what we were going to see, and we did see that. We saw the drop shots. We saw those incendiaries go down, and probably more of the same to come here on District. These teams not really finding their own identity as such. They're kind of just following the trend at the moment, following the meta, and well, in the end, that is that drop shot, that is that incendiary, sometimes the boom shot.
Let's try and break the meta, boys. Come on. Throw a curveball, which is using baseball, by the way. Let's just cover that one again. Yeah, we're pretty sure, yeah.
We've googled it at half time.
Don't try and come at me after you weren't sure how many rounds we played after we played 2.
You never know, right? You never know. It's definitely not on the scoreboard or anything.
No, it definitely isn't. No, we'll not talk about that either. Either way, down low here. Just waiting for the break to come through. I think it's one of those things where somebody wins one gunfight and the round suddenly bursts into life, and Physics is going to take Dov down here, who really is in no man's land. He should be cleaned up, but here comes the push from our damage over towards to try and find that kill. Sergio is going to go down. The kills traded in our damage's favour just momentarily. Cougars does find 2 down below, albeit it was just pretty much cleaning it up. He will get a hold of B as well as his push gets taken through. And now it's up to Toast. Has to defend here. Has to just back on up. He'll quite happily just try and stay alive here. The rest of his team coming up off spawn in just a second as well, and he's done enough to keep a hold of the home hill. Really nice stuff against Zokas. Nice gunfight between those two. But ultimately, it comes down to our damage. They now have C and B control. Rated R to try and get this one back.
Yeah, it's an understandable play there by our damage, just to force the 1v1. If they win it, they're in a real good position. If they lose it, not really too much harm done. We'll see what happens in this B hill fight though. Dragons is going to get that decap. We do see our damage lancering up from that overlook spot. You see Zokas, he's sat, Cougars, he is sat up there, just lancering down, just peppering down. And now he has jumped down. He is going to try and fight out. He's going to get taken out. His teammates actually just left him, and that's because Leonard was behind them. Reader managed to take him out with a quick knife.
Zokas now trying to make the push over towards B, but Dragons and Dov have done really well to stay alive in and around this area. Dragons will find Zokas as well, and they've retaken this very nicely. The flash comes through. Reader's going to have to back off with his tail between his legs. Dragons is going to just about clean this one up with the help of his teammate. It's a really nice comeback from Rated R. Dragons now making the push up top, looking to finish the kill. Does finish the kill, and if you're on damage now, you have to back on up and reevaluate the plan. You are in the lead, but 50 seconds to go and Swarm will win, and they're getting very aggressive over towards this C hill as well. Leonard will find a kill onto Zokas. Sergio one on to Zokas and one was on to Strikers, sorry, and the kill's just momentarily coming through for Rated R, who seem to have just flicked a switch yet in round number 2. Should be the domination coming through unless they can actually stop this one. It's not looking likely. That's going to be one apiece now. Nicely done by Rated R in the end. It was looking like our damage. Yes, okay, they found the initial first middle hill capture onto B. They had it pretty well locked down. It just comes to a couple of gunfights, and Rated R keep rolling. Nicely done.
And they put our damage in a very difficult situation there. When you're losing that home hill fight in that lower ground, and you know you've got players on the opposite team coming through those middle buildings, Info and Juice on the map there, you have to evaluate the situation. You have to decide how many players do I put down to that home hill to defend that fight? Because if you don't, you're going to get pincered, right? If you don't take that middle route as well, you're going to get pincered, and in that situation, you're going to lose. But if you don't put the right amount of numbers down there, you're losing that home hill anyway. So it really is a numbers game, and you really have to be careful about managing those players and managing those resources properly. because if you don't, you're going to lose the hill either way. It's got to be a perfect play. In that time, our damage, they made the right choice. They had the right numbers in the right positions. They managed to strangle out Rated R, and they managed to get themselves a round up. Sorry, Rated R managed to strangle out our damage, and well, that was round 1, 2.
Too many R's, man.
Too many R's.
Too many R's. We got Strikers, though, and Cougars getting things done here. Around the seaside of the map, it's a fantastic inside coming in, though. Dragons are going to take down Cougars, and he's yeeted that from the middle of the map by the looks of things, but Dragons will get taken down. Second gunfight, which way is it going to go? It's in the favour of Strikers once again. Really important gunfights to be winning. They already have B. It's a push towards C. For the first time, our damage are looking to get aggressive like they were in the first map. Rated R, though, are going to answer this push. Nice work by Sergio and Dov, and they will just shut down that home hill push coming out of our damage. But still, if you are our damage, you do have a hold of B, but you have to be careful this home hill push coming in from Rated R.
That you do. You have to do indeed. Point advantage still in our damage's favour as well, so not to worry there.
Oh dear.
No, that's not a good time to jump on board with Dov. Let's go elsewhere. As he gets taken out very, very quickly. Dragons opening up, managed to get a kill. Let's jump on board with him as he tries to fight for this second one. Flash is going to go out. Does get the stun now, and he's chasing up on Physics. Does get a little back A. He's going to get Lancet out, though. This might have been a bit too much, a bit overzealous, as he does get the damage down, but doesn't manage to get the kill in the end. Physics just doing enough to draw the attention away. Has the support of his teammates, and in the end, Dragons pays for it with his life. There's B Hill still in the favour of our damage. 50 points, 60 points now on the clock there as well. Long way to come back for Rated R. They've got to make a move soon.
In a bad spot as well. Our damage very much in control of this one, and look how far they pushed up. They've got control of the blue side and the green side of things. It's just so easy for them to hold this down now. It's a very, very difficult push for Rated R. I'd imagine the push will probably come towards the home hill. It seems to be the easier one in this situation. Although us being able to see exactly where all the players are will obviously make that a bit more obvious. But kills coming in for our damage now. They're 20 seconds away from running this round. Take something special out of Rated R as Reader just slows things down here. Strikers is the only one to drop from our damage. 10 seconds to go. Rated R not looking like they'll be able to make this push. They will capture B, but it will not be enough unless they can win the fight over towards A. Let's transition over towards that just in case it does indeed happen. I tell you what, they're getting very aggressive through the middle of the map here. Rated R trying to get something done. The fight, though, is going in our damage's favour. They will win the fights they need to. They will hold on to it, and they will find the round 2-1 now to our damage. That's a solid round from them, in all honesty. A bit more of that typical slower style that we maybe come to expect.
Yep.
And it's hard for Rated R to get aggressive, and even when they were trying to in the first map, they weren't winning these gunfights. So our damage, if they can fall back into the playing slowly and win the rounds from that, they know they have it in their locker to play fast as well.
They do, and they can. They are one of those teams that can switch between those two methods very, very quickly. Kind of like EU's Finest in the same stance, right? They are very seasoned. They know when to pick their fights, and they also know when to back out of them. And that's what you don't get from Rated R. You get that fantastic slaying ability, but you don't quite get that holding back as much. And that just comes with veterancy, right? That comes with time. And once Rated R get that, they'll be an even scarier team, to be honest with you. That said, though, our damage played that round well, as you said. They did manage to play it in that slower style. And we see them go 2-1 up for their efforts.
So it looked like a bit of a different weapon placement coming through from one side of things, actually. We'll wait until this gunfight does play out. Dov getting aggressive over towards Physics. It's going to take some Lancer fire from the mid, but
2 boom shots.
A boom shot instead of a boom shot and a drop shot. Yeah. So slightly different from the side of Rated R, who have the drop shot, and the other side of things, a boom shot for. Sorry, it was a boom shot for our damage. Rated R were the ones that. You know what? I haven't got a clue. Other way around. I had it right the first time. Either way, the kills are going in our damage's favour.
I don't even get kills with these weapons.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't seem to matter what they have in their hands. Who knows? Who knows who has what at this point through?
No one has anything. The round's over. We're done.
I think that round 13.
Let's block them off.
That round 13 between Obey and EU's Finest has fried my brain.
That's it. Brains are gone. It's all mush.
Seeing Hydro run through smoke and find 3 kills has just bewildered me beyond belief, and that is why I'm now speaking gobbledygook.
In tongues.
In tongues.
Yeah, well, you're right. I mean, I can't even tell the difference between two weapon icons at this point. So.
You know what? Sack us both.
That's it. Get Toby and Elle in here.
Get Toby and Elle in. Who knows if Elle's alive?
I think he is. He's not going to the London land this
Has he sent you your glasses
Saturday.
yet?
Does it look like he has?
No,
See
you're
how
not
close
wearing.
I am
You
to the
know where
screen?
I know you. You scooted on up there, pal.
You've had to move a 55-inch in it just so I could see. Oh dear. So let's take stock of what's actually happening.
yeah, we've got a little bit off course.
Boom shot on rated R side. Drop shot on the R damage side.
Thank you.
They've both been halved to 75. And that's all we've got to worry about is 2 weapons, so we should be able to do this.
Thanks for clearing that up for me, Fro.
No problem. No problem.
Cheers, mate.
There we go. Oh, just bounces off the head.
Well, that's unfortunate from Reader. Not able to find anything with that there. And they will know that is now not available.
Boom.
Dov's going to push forward. The boom shot kill comes through. Very nicely done. Rated R haven't had much to shout about, in all honesty, and Reader is eventually going to get taken down by Dov. Second time of asking. But yeah, they haven't had much to shout about. It looks like they will get the push over towards B, but if you are damage, it looks like they are considering a home hill push, but here we go. They're going to start engaging in and around B. They're not going to allow Dov an easy capture. Has to be careful here. He's all on his own for now, just jumping around where he can, just trying to get something going. Finds one at the strikers. Can he find the second here as well? He's doing it all on his own. Can he get it done? Over towards B. He is going to get taken down by Physics. A big gunfight won. It felt like it was swinging in Dov's favor there, but he will eventually go down. They've lost C. They will lose B, but they have managed to capture A. So, bit of a topsy-turvy turn of events in the past 30 seconds, but he nearly got things going there, Dov.
I honestly think that the only reason he didn't get the kill there is because he got lanced from afar. He made the right plays. He was dancing around there, and he had Physics numbers, but the support came in for R damage, and that's what R damage are about. They support the teammates. A trade comes in down. Dov just sat looking at the remains. Has that boom shot in hand. Doesn't want to lose that. Very, very close, actually. Just get taken down past 50% health, trying to get this decap, but he just can't afford to lose this boom shot, so he can't afford to waste his life here to get the decap. Got to be very, very careful.
Well, Dov in a similar situation once again, but the thing is here, his team are not getting any points on the board currently. Are they going to eventually capture B? Potentially. He's just going to trade places with his teammates who were weak. But they still haven't got anything on the board here. For all they found a couple of kills, they haven't been able to find the objective, and they're just getting forced away by the Lancer Fire of our damage, who are looking to go up 4-1 here.
Well, if you look at the overhead, I mean, just on the info there, you see there is a little blue skull, and that's where our damage was sat. They had both the info and the juice overlooks, and they just basically had the perfect cross there. You can't take B hill if your opponent is in both of those windows. They had to clean that out first, which is why Dov ended up going for that big push. Gets taken out there. They do trade that kill though, and they should be able to get this cap down eventually. Yeah, Sergio might lose his life for it though if he's not very careful.
That's the second time in a row that Toast has lost his life to a trade kill, so the Gears of War God's not quite with him this time round.
Not quite.
Lena trying to get something done, not going to quite happen. Strikers will find him. And it's a good position. Look, I mean, it's such a good spot. Juicer info are so great to have, and oh my god, he's going to actually go out on the jump. I'm not expecting Toast to come from there.
And he didn't trade either.
No, he didn't trade. Toast, he's done one better than the last 2 times either way. Looks like they are going to try and make a capture over towards B. Shooting your teammate will not help your situation here, Toast, it has to be said. But still, they have B, but they don't have much else for our damage. Are out-rotating them when they need to. Look at the score difference as well. Cog to win in 20 seconds, and you have a feeling if that does go over towards a 2 cap towards rated R, the Swarm side will not be winning in any time soon. It still should be all R damage. They will just need 1 cap. They are keeping a hold of C as best they can. They will lose the gunfights, but getting aggressive towards C works out in A's favor, doesn't it? It pushes them further away. It takes them longer to get in that position.
They are on it though. They could get this. Sergio. He's fighting this out.
They've got far too aggressive. I can't believe it. What's going on here? If you are on our damage, nowhere near it. You're in complete control of the round. And I cursed
just
them.
like that. Just like
I cursed them. I can't believe it.
What are you doing?
I know. I thought it was signed, sealed, delivered.
Well, it looked like it, right? But in the end, rated R, they make the right plays, and they're rewarded for their efforts.
Our damage screwed up there. I'm not gonna lie.
They did.
I mean, I respected the aggression over towards C, but in that case, you need other people on the map to at least be staying alive.
Yeah.
Like, I'm all good with you pushing the home hill and saying, right, okay, well, if we kill you here, then you really are pushed further back. But
you got to have someone defending your own.
You've got to have somebody playing that slow play.
And that's the issue. There is that they. Let's take it back. If you just put all your team members on your home hill, right, and you defend it and you lose that,
you win that.
Well, also if you lose it though, everyone's going to look at you and go, "What are you doing? Like, why don't you just play that like you would play the rest of the game? You know, make sure you've got people in a situation to take other hills, and don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? That was the complete opposite, right? They had too many people spread out. They were defending lanes that didn't need defending, and all they needed to do was just come back a little bit. They had people in juice, right? Just defending this no man's land in the middle. That's not helping at the point at which you need to defend your home hill, right?
You lose the important gunfights and suddenly you're in a bad spot.
You just roll back, sit with your team, and at that point you do need to slay it out. And talking to slay it out, our damage, they've come back into it in this one.
Straight away, that's 3 men down for rated R. Strikers getting aggressive. And that's the thing with this map, though, Fru, is that you know, you make one big break, and it's not a very big map at all, is it? It at least doesn't feel it with the transitions that you can do as Strikers finds another 2, making his way over towards it. Can he clean up shop here? Sergio on his own. Strikers finds a 3rd. It's a beautiful kill. Go on, give him the 4th as well. Not quite. We're thinking of top 5 players. It might not matter. You might squeeze into it anyway with that. Nicely done by Strikers. 4-2 now to our damage. And that could have been 5-1. Let's be honest.
Yep.
They'll be a bit disappointed not being in a better position at the halfway point. But the kills come through. We now change it up to the hills moving up towards ATM and Pergola. But we now will go to the other side of things as well, to the lower side. So a little bit of a different setup here now, but it is our damage once again with the advantage. 4-2 up here, and map number 2 after winning map number 1 in such convincing fashion. Can they close this one out quickly as well? It's feeling like they might.
They're definitely tempting it, aren't they? They're 4-2 up at the half. They're looking pretty good in these opening fights, and they are making the majority of the decisions correctly, so that's good to see. Lots of trading out here. Reader's going to jump in. Sergio picks up 2 actually for his troubles down there, and Swarm looks like they're going to eliminate if no one can respawn. Nope, that's going to be 4-3. This is a super quick round again. You cursed them. 32 seconds in, and rated R. They're on the 3rd round now.
I'm just jinxing our damage as we go.
Second map fever. It could be getting to that 13 round.
Second map fever.
That's what it is.
Like Saturday night.
Yeah. Basically. They get to this map 2, everyone wants to just party, and we go to that round 13 and we dance it out.
I've got visions of you in a suit like What's
maybe
like Travolta. Oh god.
Yeah,
we've lost the plot.
If this is all tied up at 6 weeks in, that's what you might get at the end of it all.
Oh, a dance off.
A dance off.
Oh god.
We'll see. Oh dear god.
Oh,
4-3. The score.
We're 3 weeks in, we've lost the plot. Here we are.
Oh my lord.
It was all going so well.
It was.
Strikers is going to go down initially anyway, just for maybe a little sit down. And where these initial gunfights are going to go. It's so nice by Dove. He's going to take down Zorkos, and here comes the aggression for him rated R. Maybe it is their turn to find some rounds under their belt here. They really haven't had anything going. They will get a hold of E. They are actually going to get a hold of F here as well. They're going to dominate in a few seconds if something is not done by the Swarm side of things. The R damage side of things. They go 4 apiece now. And that was very, very quick. Nicely done. I rated on. They're well and truly back in this game. And I think, you know, if you are R damage, go back to thinking of that round where you were in complete control. I think it was round number 5. There would have been round number 6 because they would have been 5-1 up, wouldn't they, at one point? But then they lose that round. Then they've lost 2 in a row, and now suddenly it's 4-4. Could have been a very different game.
Could have been. It maybe should have been as well. As we look back at it, a bit of a difference coming in here. Shot grenades on one side, incendiaries on the other. So our damage is going to be stocking up with those incendiaries. The bigger power weapon is back online as well. So the boom shot over there and the drop shot.
And they were really going in the favour of our damage, it has to be said. The rounds while they were in play seemed to just be trickling towards our damage, if you like. Reddarv getting back into things since these power weapons have not been such an issue. That'll be a good drop shot. Nicely done by Reader. Predicts the play, and he is going to help out his team get a hold of E here. You would feel Dragons are going to get pushed back, although that shot grenade will slow things down momentarily, so he might save his team their bullishes around this site. Strikers run around and shooting the wall, checking if somebody was there.
Yeah, I think that's
it looks
what it was.
Bizarre from this angle, let's be honest.
You know, you know the intention. Oh, Zorkos, that's the boom shot out of play as well. That was perfect. Didn't know he was there. I mean, that wasn't perfect. What's he doing?
What's going on?
Just run straight into the fire. Physics is on fire now as well. Sergio's on fire. Get out the fire. What are you doing?
It burns.
It's burns.
Hot. No wonder EU's finest are smoking you all now. Come on.
Burning yourself. Zorkos picks up another. It was a fantastic incendiary by Zorkos. I'm not sure what everyone else was doing after that, but it was a fantastic one to take out that boom shot and just relieve pressure on the E-Hill. Obviously, the cap there has gone in their favour. F is also getting contested here. Strikers is going to pick up one. Looking for his second. Has got that crossfire from his team.
Should be able to get here in time. Only going to force them away. Strikers is going to go down to Dove, and the push is going to come through. It's absolute carnage inside of F. It's going to be Leonard. Can he find one more from Leonard? He needs to. If he can, he's going to take down Cougars. Zorkos goes down. Very nicely done by Leonard, and they will go on
just
to
like
win the round through an elimination. It was looking like an R-damage domination.
It should have been.
And they
stepped
so
out of the ring.
aggressive.
Strikers stepped out of the ring to get the revival. And that's what cost them the domination. And
then they get
and
eliminated.
Then Leonard comes in and gets a quad. Just like
God's
that.
sake.
What a fantastic. It is. It's that second man. I tell you, they go all the way.
You could either call that run fantastic or really stupid.
It was fantastic to watch. It was
very dumb.
I'm not going to say stupid, but it wasn't optimally played. But yeah, it was. I mean, it was exciting. That's for sure. Can't believe that quad kill just to flip the round on its head, just quick as they come.
That's the thing when the boom shot spawns that close to your spawn, you're looking pretty tasty in that sort of position. Striker's getting very aggressive though. Damage trying to get a hold of something. He is going to find Leonard now with that drop shot, and he will go down. Really nice play out of Strikers. I think he just caught him off guard. Physics is he's going to kill his teammate who was already down with the drop shot. For what's going on? Come on. And maybe it is Toby playing.
Leave me alone.
Maybe it is Toby playing. Who knows?
To be fair, that
yeah, it was tough. He was really already quite weak.
Yeah, that boom shot. I think Physics he'd want that shot again. To be honest, he shouldn't have killed his teammate there. You saw him actually go for the revive after he shot it, and I don't think he expected it to kill him. So we'll give him that one back. We'll see how he does with the next one.
Well, Physics gonna have to try and defend this side of things. Over towards E, he's going to lose the gunfight, as is Strikers, who will go down. So Rated R very much in this round still. Trying to decap E, and they just about should here. The fight's going in their favor as well. Everybody but Zorkos down, actually, who's going to have to defend here. He's probably won a couple of gunfights. Flash is going to come through. He may well just get dropped. He does get dropped. This could be a domination coming in for Rated R. This could be 6-4. Physics might just save their blushes. Has won one gunfight, as has Strikers. Rated R, don't let it happen again, though. Don't let these kills come swinging through. They do not make that mistake. Thumbs up from Rated R. 6-4 now. Are we going to see a map number 3 here, Fru?
Could be the first one of the pro circuit.
It could indeed.
It'd be just like it to see that come through after what we said. Oh yeah, the first team wins the second one every time. The first winner wins the second map.
You know
every
what?
time.
I've been cursing our damage. You've been cursing our damage.
That's true. That's true. Yes, it's our fault.
Drop shot placed on the other side of things for them, so it is pretty even across the board here. Drop shot v boom shot, and boom shot v drop shot. Boom shot now halved, of course, as said.
Everything at 75 seconds. This makes this map extremely explosive, extremely exciting. Well, this is why we're seeing a lot of these, going back to realism, this is why we are seeing a lot of these team kills, right? Is because all of the weapons on the map, they're all, super high caliber. They're explosive. They do a lot of damage. They have area of effect damage as well, and there's no surprise team kills are coming out when all the teams are fighting at such a pace.
So Skelet's going to go over towards Sergio. It feels like Rated R very much getting back into this game, and he's going to find a second as well. Sergio really starting to turn up. We said he had a poor game number 1. He's been all but different here in the second map. Swarm domination may actually come through here. A couple of kills have just about went in Rated R's favor. Not quite sure what that drop shot was from Physics. He may have just denied the inevitable, though, as the domination may come through. It has to be a push from Strikers. He has to get in. He does. Dov's actually going to get taken down by his teammate as well. So Strikers allows his team to potentially get back into this round. Not long has gone by, so the points deficit is not that great, and they will be in control of the map. That could have been very, very different there, Fru.
It really could have. There's so many things that just went wrong for all of the teams there. A missed drop shot, a team kill. Players not really on the same boat. I think, so far this has got to be the scrappiest map of the pro circuit, that's for sure.
100%.
It's definitely not the prettiest, but it has been a very exciting one so far. And well, Rated R, they're on this match point. They're about to try and they're trying to force it to this game 3. Second series of power weapons coming out now. Almost everyone on the map has one. This is how dangerous it's getting. Redefines that kill on Sergio. Some good crossfire by strikers there to help him out. But it's about these power weapons. Toast has found one. We see Physics, he's pushed up a little bit. May get drop shotted out here. The drop shot just come in, it connects, but not completely. 36% health is on the board for Physics. He's going to heal up. Does manage to get the drop shot, the boom shot, sorry, connected this time around. Toast picks up his second though, and now our damage still on the back foot. They've got to fight this out.
Dragon's not in too bad of a spot. He's got the right-hand side cover. He is going to get taken down, but if you're Cougars, you get far too aggressive there. Physics is going to get pushed out. He is going to get taken down as well. Will just about escape with his life for the third time. Lucky eventually does survive. But the damage is done. Rated on now in control of E. Looking to try and close this one out. They will do in 50 seconds with this current scenario here, Fruit.
Yep, and they're just going to try and stop people dropping down off here. Great little back shot there from Sergio as he takes out strikers, and that's a key member to take out here. If they can get another down, they might have just confirmed this for themselves.
Leonard takes down Dov, though, who has now been cleaned up. He is going to take down Reader as well, though. A lot of bodies on the floor here as Sergio is down as well. He should be getting taken down. This is our damage now in a good spot.
One more alive. Dov just managed to spawn up, though, so if they can get the kill on Toast, they might be able to clean this up.
Will they have enough time here to win off a 2 cap, though? Yes, they will. 39 seconds, so it's about a 10-second difference.
They might not even get it here. Strikers, he's going to try and dominate in just a second. Let's find out where the fight is. The fight is over at this home hill. Dragons, he's managed to pick up one, and well, the boom shot is wasted, actually. They just go down. Physics comes in with a triple. He just get a kill on his own teammate, but it doesn't really matter right now. Cog, they're going to dominate in just 4 seconds. If they can get this cap in, they're going to get this 5th round. They are going to solidify that 5th round now. 6-5 now. Rated R. They're still on that match point, but well, our damage, they're not going out without trying.
Well, we could talk about these map number 2s. It's been interesting, it has to be said. The second map on every single series has been crazy so far. But which way is this one going to go for?
I don't know. I'm not sure why you're asking me. I know I'm here to give that insight, but at this point, it's honestly, it's whoever makes the least mistakes.
I'm asking you because it's your job, mate. You should know the answer to these questions. You're the analyst here.
I can predict when there's some suitable statistics to go on, but right now. There is none. It's whoever doesn't get the most team kills. It's whoever doesn't boom shot their own feet.
whoever doesn't completely screw up.
Whoever doesn't run into an incendiary, right? Like at this point, they're both teams. They're obviously on edge. They're obviously playing to the peak of their ability, and they're pushing that limit, and that's why they're making these mistakes. And we are seeing mistakes made, but you've got to try and neutralize those mistakes. That's your job as part of being on one of these teams, is to try and not make as many mistakes as the other team, to be honest with you, because that's where the other team picks it apart. Right now, it's pretty even, right? Both teams slowing down a bit. It's kind of interesting to see that, Rated R, they're not flying towards this E-hill anymore. They are slowing down. They are going to try and make this play with this drop shot, and, well, that one's missed.
Has indeed, and now the push comes through onto Zorkos, and he's able to clean up Sergio. Can he find the second as well? He doesn't need to. Physics is there with the boom. They should now capture E, and actually they're getting very aggressive over towards D. They've got a teammate behind them already capturing E. They have to be careful of the extension coming from the Rated R side. Our damage, though, are in a really good position. They are going to lose strikers, but they have 2 hills. And they will be taking up that victory now. The win condition will come up very, very shortly.
Dragon's got the boom shot, though.
Oh, can he do anything with it? He takes quite a bit of Lancer fire there and has to back on down. Takes some more. Backs on down again, but the rest of his team do now push forward. Sergio is going to find a kill onto Physics. Dragons are looking to get aggressive down this left-hand side. They are going to decap E, expecting the push to come through from Zorkos. Doesn't really want to have to waste the boom if he doesn't need to. The kill's coming through for Rated R here. I expect him to get aggressive over towards F. Or at least set themselves up. Cougars in a good spot to maybe slow that down. Leonard kills Dov again, and Cougars will take him down. Dragons making a push over towards this now. Is going to find Physics, but will be pushed away. So our damage just about to survive. Rita's going to find the kill on the Dragons as well. Strikers kills himself when he was on the floor, of course, but what is actually going on in this round for...
Well, what is going on this round is that Leonard, when he downed his own teammate, he saved Cougar's life. Cougars, he was still up right at the end of that play, and because he was still up, he forced onto the opposition home hill, and he just created havoc out there. He was on Rated R's home hill. They had to go back and deal with it, and if they'd have managed to clean up that kill, they may have been in a much better situation here. Great kill by Dov there with that boom shot.
An important kill as well.
It is an important kill, and sadly, that's on the back foot, right? They're defending right now. They could have been on the offense if they'd have just managed to pick up that kill on Cougars. Cougars did well to stay alive.
Oh, the drop shot comes through. It's not going to connect on anything at E. But that's decapped currently. It's still a swarm win condition. And this will be to close it out for Rated R. If it stays this way, he should be captured very, very shortly by our damage. They can't quite get it. So close to getting a hold of it there. They're just waiting to try and push this
They've got a
Lancer
few
Fire away.
seconds to get it. If they get it, it switches.
Swarm still win off one. They've got to make the push. It must be so close.
It is. It's a second in it. They just didn't get it just in time. And Swarm, they're going to win. They need the decap on D. You can see the push coming up now. Sergio gets one with this boom shot. Rated R looking to lock in this first map of the series. Strikers trying his best to get through. Toast takes out Dov. Toast takes out Strikers, though. Toast, is he going to take out the remaining member? Is Physics. Are they going to be able to get the decap right on the end? I think they might be. I think this might be R damage. They might be able to force this to a round 13 cog.
They might have done it. They've done it.
We're going to round 13.
Of course we are.
I told you. Second map fever. We're in.
You need to stop saying stuff with fever in it, honestly. Imagine. I mean, another team kill, man. Come on.
Two. It wasn't even just. It was the down on Cougar. It was the down on Dov when he was fighting Cougars.
Yep.
And then right at the end, Toast taking his own
Lord.
teammate out as well. What is going on? And if they lose this now, Rated R, they're going to be kicking themselves. They were so far
if they
far
lose
ahead.
this now, Rated R's confidence is evaporating into the Shadow Realm at this point.
Yep.
R damage coming back into this one. It was 6-4 to Rated R. They seemingly want to throw it. So R damage now in the ascendancy, you feel.
And everything's on the map now. They've got the utility grenades on both sides.
All right.
Everything's brought down to 75 seconds apiece, and this round's going to get spicy. Let's go.
Okay. Which way does this one go then? Let us know in the chat. Who do you think's going to take this one away? The push comes through. It's a fairly standard setup across the map. It's going to come down to who uses these power weapons better. Leonard now set up with the drop shot. He's going to see his strikers coming behind, but he can't fire it because Sergio's already there. It's a good push, but the shot comes through only with the hit marker. So R damage survived the initial push, and Leonard has to back on down. He does have a teammate with him. Reader now, what can he do with this drop shot on the R damage side of things? Being very, very careful. He knows that Rated R's are being wasted. That's a good shot over towards. Has to be careful not to find Strikers. What way is that kill going to go? Not too sure. Physics is going to find Leonard, and Dragons is going to take down Strikers. Physics will find the kill, though, and get his teammate up.
Looking for his third.
Dov's going to find two, though. He's going to clean them up yet, and that's 2 kills going to go down. Dov should be able to get a hold of E here.
Everyone's on such quick respawns, though. They're, you know, as soon as they die, they're basically back up. They're back in the fight again. You can see it on the cards on the left and right. We are going to see Regal Dragons. He's going to take down to 1 respawn, so keep an eye on that. On the other side, everyone looks to be pretty healthy. Sergio, actually, he's on 1 as well. Big fight there. Reader takes out Dragons. Looking for his second. He doesn't manage to get him, but he does get some damage down. Keeping his life up.
They got a hold of E, though. So R damage in control currently. If you're Rated R, you maybe wait for these power weapons to come up once again. They will be coming up shortly. Immediately, actually, is the boom shot. And mate, honestly, I'm a Gears caster now. Dragons setting themselves up to try and get a hold of E here. Rated R to try and come back in this round after being in control seemingly for the past few rounds. And they're just waiting for one moment to try and take. That's all it's going to come down to. Keep an eye on these power weapons, of course. As said, though, R damage do have these as well. But it's up to R damage. Are they going to use them reactively when Rated R make the push, or proactively to try and shut them down before they get a chance? Toast is going to find a kill, as is Physics with the boom shot. So 1 apiece. Here comes the drop shot. Physics is going to survive. Strikers finds 1 onto Leonard and a second onto Dov, but Sergio finds the kill onto Physics. It's not going to really give much over towards Rated R because he's going to be pushed from the other end. Sergio should be dead momentarily, and it's a good defensive hold. Strikers finds 2, and it's going to be 20 seconds until R damage take this one 2-0. We're never seeing a map 3 in the EU Pro League here, Fru. I'm convinced.
What a comeback from R damage. If they do manage to lock this in, this will be huge.
They've thrown rounds before. They've thrown rounds before.
But I don't think from this situation, 8 seconds on the clock now, 5 seconds as R damage look to put their stamp on it.
It should surely be it. R damage come back 7-6 after being 6-4 down 3 rounds in a row to take the series 2-0. And that was a quick series. In all honesty, and I want to say thank you to the teams. Maybe not for some of the quality at times, because there were some mistakes. Don't get me wrong, but for how they played the game and how aggressive they were getting to each other, it made it very, very entertaining. Irrelevant of the Saturday Night Fever references, we'll try and get them out of the way for next week. But at the same time,
that's because you're replacing me, right?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I don't know what I don't know what Toby or Elliot are going to bring to the table in terms of pop culture references, but we'll find out when that happens. Either way, concentrate on the game. Is that what a performance by our Damage? We needed to see that bounce back from them after a good start and a really poor performance against EU's finest. That was much more like it. But if you're rated R, it's honestly. I know I said after 3 games, after everybody plays everybody, we'll probably have a better lay of the land.
Do we?
Outside of EU's finest, looking a lot better. I don't know if we do.
I don't know if we do.
I think that we said at the beginning of it, we thought EU's finest were probably going to dominate, and then it's going to be a toss-up between the other 3. That actually seems to be the case now. After weeks 1 and 2, we honestly weren't sure which way this one was going to go, but this is how the series did play out. A very, very good one from our Damage, 72 on Asylum, 7-6 on District, with 3 rounds in a row to close it out. It's still really up in the air for me. I know these teams all play each other again. Every single game has been 2-0, but there's been some very, very close maps in the first round of games. And honestly, I don't know who finishes second. For me, I absolutely believe, after some of the performances from EU's finest, I absolutely believe that we do see them top. Let's have a look at those Pro League standings, though, after everybody has played everybody once. And it is EU's finest sitting at the top, just about, by the way, on round difference by 2 over our Damage, who just about win that one up against Rated R. There's going to be Obey Alliance sitting down at the bottom after a couple of hard losses on some maps. That's what's sending them all the way down there, but
it's so difficult, isn't it? For Rated R.
I mean, look, at this point, these teams all have to play each other once more again. So I don't think anybody will be looking at these standings and think, we're done and dusted. We're in a really bad spot for relegation. But through halfway point of the first quarter, what do we think? And what is the lay of the land? Tell me, please, because I don't.
Honestly, after the past 2 weeks, I kind of disagree with the scoreboard. I would put Rated R at the bottom.
3 weeks, mate.
3 weeks. Did I say 2 weeks?
You did.
Send me up.
He's done it again.
I'm so sorry.
It's a good job we're replacing you next week.
3 weeks. After 3... Jeez.
Continue your point.
No one would have noticed that if you hadn't said it. After 3 weeks... I can't remember what I was saying now. After 3 weeks, I would have put Rated R honestly at the bottom. Yeah. Because they looked great first week, but EU's finest also didn't look great. After that, they've had these close games, and they've just not had the bottle to close it out.
I think if you put EU's finest now up against Rated R...
They slaughter them.
Yeah.
And I guess that's maybe what we. I don't know if it's a repeat of the games again, but that might be what we see next week. I'll have to check.
I'm not 100% sure.
We'll have to check the schedule on that one. But if it is, then definitely they beat them, because they just look deflated at the moment, and there's obviously they're not playing the same game as they did that first week. So yeah, I would put them at the bottom. Obey and our Damage, still a bit of a toss up, but given how well our Damage played against Obey and how easily they beat them.
But then we've seen Obey look a lot better since that first game.
But I also think our Damage are also improving.
Yeah.
And I think our Damage are actually looking like that second place
our
team
Damage
right now.
just can't play against the EU's finest. I think that's the problem.
That is it, right? And the day they find the ability to play against, EU's finest, that is the day that they shoot up into that top 4 of the global scene. I would say they're just missing that little X factor. I don't know what it is, to be honest with you. They just seem to have a curse.
Well, if they find out, please let us know, because EU's finest look really hard to beat at the moment. Obey Alliance came so close to doing it, and it just took that little bit of magic from EU's finest. We talk about their all-round game, but they have players like Hydron who can do things like what he did. Insane. That has to be number 1 player. I'm gonna Hydron, if you're still watching, let's try and get that clip off you so I can put it in the top 5 players, mate. Because phenomenal play out of him. EU's finest back on track, looking more like the team we fully expected them to be through every single week. On the other side of things, though, it's really all to play for, in all honesty. Yes, our Damage... all teams have had their moments over the first 3 games that they've played, where they've all looked really, really good, but then there's just inconsistencies. Yes. I think if anyone's going to be starting to be consistent, you feel as if it's going to be our Damage.
They look the most consistent.
It could be Obey. Obey pushed the EU's finest to that 7-6 as well. You know, if they potentially take that map, then things could be a little bit different. I think we've still got a lot of questions to answer.
We've got 3 fantastic weeks coming up ahead of us, I think.
Yeah. It'll make for a good Christmas. Anyway, we will close that one out. Another 2 great games here in Europe. Thank you very much for watching. If you missed any of those, we will have those VODs up. Follow us on Twitter at EGL. Follow myself and Fru as well while you're at it, and come chat to us about the games. Fantastic set of first 3. And yeah, a great time to be a Gears fan here in Europe. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. And we'll see you guys next week.
Listen to the wind blow, down comes the night. Break the silence, damn the dark, damn the light. And if you don't love me now, you will never love me again. I can still hear you saying you must never break the chain. I can still